Garbage in, garbage out.
And that is still the cutest intro that I think we have ever had. Hi, this is Garbage In, Garbage Out. I am one of your hosts, that Cyclops guy. I am a regular streamer on Twitch and several other places, including TikTok, soon to be Kick, and a bunch of others. You can always find our show. Well, we normally start at 2. I know we're a little late today, but we normally start at 2 p.m. and you can find us on Twitch, Facebook. I will be clipping this and putting this on TikTok and on Spotify. I am a variety streamer, play everything from Tetris to Grand Theft Auto whenever they decide to put Grand Theft Auto out, which is kind of weird because they've already announced Grand Theft Auto 7 before Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't understand. Yep. And with me today is my co-host, Neodeath.
How's it going, everybody? I am Neodeath. I have just started streaming. I've been doing it for about 2 months now. And I've been loving it so far. I've known Cyclops and usually Koimiya. Koimiya is not here today. He couldn't make it. He had family issues, family things to do. You knew we had to say something about that. But yeah, I've been having a blast with these guys. I love this podcast where we get to talk about anything and everything and get our views out and then talk with you viewers. I think that has been the best experience from the whole streaming thing, is just communicating with people, having fun with them in the chat. I think that is the best. And you can find me on Twitch and YouTube right now. I've cut back on a lot of the other ones. I still go to Beam, I still go to Kick, but it's only usually when we're doing these podcasts. I've just been focusing on the 2 right now. So, yep, you should be able to see my Twitch underneath my name. And I've been having lots of fun. Love talking to you people. Let's get into some stories, shall we?
Yeah, and it seems like, and I'm trying to put these in the chat right now so you get all of them. But yeah, it seems like we've got quite a lot of sad ones to start off the day. Or at least start this one off. And about what you said about Koimiya, it seems like every time he's gone, we rip on him. But yet I was gone last week, and I think I got off light because you guys didn't do the show.
Yeah, we didn't do the show last week because I think he still had family things he was doing, and I just liked it because it was a nice little break from all my streaming schedule.
Yeah, and you just started streaming pretty regularly, if I remember correctly. Like I remember a long time ago you streamed for a while, and then all of a sudden you were kind of gone, and now you're back again.
Yeah, I mean, that was back during the pandemic where everybody's a streamer because you had nothing to do, right? You're all sitting at home playing video games, so that's when I first did it, and I was just doing it through the PS5, and it was hard to have a or PS4 at that time. It was hard to have the camera. You had to use their camera, and it was just clunky as crap.
Oh God, I remember those. Yeah, no
yeah,
shade.
Setting up their camera, because their cord could only go so far, and it was really bad. So I was like, forget this. And then 2 months ago, I got back into Magic the Gathering Arena, and I was playing one day, and I was losing spectacularly. Every hand I was losing, and I'm like, this should be recorded because I am losing in the best ways ever, or the worst ways ever, coming from my point of view. So I literally that day, as on a spar, got down OBS, set it up real quick, and I was like, oh yeah, I still have a Twitch. I put it out to Twitch, and away I went. And then I think that same week I came onto the show, and yeah, my camera was complete garbage. If you look at that first one I came on, I don't even think I had a background, so you can actually see the stuff that's behind me in the background. And it was just really poorly done on my end. And I've slowly been building up, gotten the green screen, gotten my lights, got a better mic,
Mm.
the Stream Deck, trying to make it more professional.
And that's always good. Yeah, I started the same way with actually my very first stream. I didn't have a camera, a mic, or anything. It's literally just gameplay of Sunset Overdrive. And as I, saved up some money, I was finally able to get a camera, which was the PlayStation camera. And then, of course, when I got the Xbox, I was like, oh, I'll get the Kinect. So then, but I didn't have one that could go through. I had like a PlayStation camera for my PlayStation and a Kinect for my Xbox. So the cameras never really lined up. It was like, what is he playing today? I don't know. Just look at the camera,
Right.
Yeah. And then,
I'm constantly trying to get the resolution right on certain things. Like I just played with my camera resolution again today, so it looks a little bit better, hopefully. I don't know if I like the Logitech camera, honestly. So yeah, if people have suggestions on what are good streaming cameras, I was looking at one. What was it? The like a Insta camera, Insta 360, I think it was, or something.
Yeah.
That there was said that was supposed to be kind of good. I don't know. I mean, also, I always thought, Yeti, that's a great mic, right? I thought it was going to be really good. So that was the first mic I had. And I don't know if I didn't have it set in the right position or what, but I was always screwing with my sound, trying to get I would always be really low or whatnot. So I thought, that was the good mic, but turns out it wasn't. This is supposed to be the mic that everybody uses. A lot of podcasts use this mic. So
what's the one that you have now?
It's the Shure SM7B. You see it in a lot of people. And that's how I got it, is I got it from a YouTuber who was using a mic. And I'm like, oh, he sounds so clear. What mic is that? And I kept asking him in the comments and he wouldn't reply. So I took a screenshot and used Google Lens and was like, what mic is this? And it told me, and I'm like, okay, I'll go look that up. And then after I got sticker shock of seeing how much it was, I was like, okay, I guess if I want quality mic, that's what I gotta go with.
Yeah, I actually just got a Yeti mic. It was actually $150 mic that I got for about $60. So I mean, I feel like I got a deal on that. Right now I'm just using the old one that I had, which was
it sounds like your old one still.
Yeah, it's the not Samsung, it's Samson. It's a Meteor mic, and I mean it's worked for me pretty well. But
it's still, that's pretty good quality for what it is.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna probably transfer, because I've actually got it sitting right here. The mic that I got here. I put it on the arm. It was already on the arm when he gave it to me. So we'll see if this works a lot better. It says Blue Yeti on it. And then if this doesn't work, then yeah, I'll probably go with the one that you got there.
Just know that the Blue Yeti, it depends on, it's very directional. And it shows you that in the pictures when you're setting it up, that it's got to be set to a certain direction. It's not like this one where it kind of captures everything,
the whole thing around.
Yeah, so just know that when you're setting it up, to put it in the right direction.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
that was some of my problem. It wasn't until I got the shock mount, that it changed where the direction was of the mic, that it actually started sounding, pretty decent.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I didn't like. It was on a boom connected to my desk, and every time I would put down my phone, you would just hear like a clunk, like I was literally slamming the damn thing down. I'm like, why is it picking that up? And once I got the shock absorber on there, it's cut that down dramatically.
Okay.
So somehow this turned into a tutorial and do's and don'ts on streaming and whatnot.
It seems like I get something and then you always find out something that's better, and I'm like the next day.
Right. I mean, yeah, I just keep adding different things. It's trial and error. That's how we've done this so far.
Not all of us have that good of a paying job like you do.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, I put a lot of it on credit. So, and I plan to. I have to look into it, but I want to turn it into a business. So I have
Mm.
to look into getting an LLC and how to do the taxes so that hopefully I can start like writing some of this off
Mm.
as my business expenses. But I have to talk to somebody and figure out how all that works. So as soon as I figure that out, I will definitely, put it out there like the best way to do it and whatnot.
Yeah, because that's what I want to do too. I want to turn this into a business. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. It's just like I don't know how.
Right.
I've been trying to
And
study up on
and
it.
you see all these big streamers or YouTube people that they're doing it and they're it's their job, but they don't explain the ins and outs of how they got there. And
Mm.
I understand it's not like one day you're just a common person and all of a sudden you've got thousands of followers or whatnot. You got to put in the work or the time, but
Mhm.
like explain the steps of how you got it to a business and how you grew it to where it is. And you can watch tons of YouTube videos that do this to get more followers. And yeah, I started looking at some of those to get some ideas, and yeah, now it's like it just floods my YouTube algorithm now.
Mhm.
And
It's
some are
like
good, some are bad.
That's like me with TikTok. I have been trying to get a video to go viral, and apparently that's like a huge trend on there, trying to get videos to go viral. And
Right.
every single one of them is like, watch this video all the way to the end, then go from the bottom up. Do the share. You don't share it; you just hit the copy link, and then you hit favorites, and then leave a comment, 5 words or more, and then hit like, and then follow me, and then watch 5 videos, and you'll get 80,000 followers within a week. And I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for like a month, and yeah, my followers have jumped, but I'm still at like 1,200.
Right.
And it's like I'd like to get the 10,000 because the 10,000 gets you monetized, and then they give
Right.
you money for any video. It's like there's a billion people on TikTok, and 10,000 of you can't just follow me. Come on.
Yeah, and I was working on the TikTok thing too, but it's so hard. That's the other thing I've learned. Like you can't jump and try and do them all at once. You have to set up a base from one and kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I haven't been doing as much TikTok. I've just been focusing on Twitch and YouTube. Like those are my 2 main ones. So I stream to both, but YouTube, after I've streamed it, I will take that video and cut it down a little bit, cut some things out, like if I had a break or whatever, and then repost it as a new video each day, like if I was a normal like YouTuber. And so that way I'm building on that end while still getting the live stuff.
So if you are on TikTok or YouTube or Twitch or Spotify, definitely drop a like, help us make our dreams come true, because then we can entertain you more.
Right. We do have our first comment here. We got Dark Flame. Thank you. Hello, lovelies.
I'm so lovely.
I'm so pretty.
God, why does that sound like Gollum?
Kind of.
Yes, give it to me.
The precious.
You all are my precious.
God, I am so disappointed in the Gollum game that came out. What was it, like 2 or 3 years ago? It was like
it wasn't even that long ago. It was like a year ago, wasn't it? It was like the worst game ever.
It was like
year.
It had such an amazing concept. Like, whether Smeagol or Gollum makes the decision, that's the way that the game goes, and that's the way that the story goes. And I'm like, that's an amazing thing. Let's do that. And then it's like, oh, by the way, you can't really jump, you can't really move. The camera does this, the camera does that. You can't do this, you can't do that. And by the way, there's not really much of a difference in the way that the story plays out. And it's like, what? And on top of that, it looks like a giant child's game.
Right. Dark Flame came back. You're both my favorite girls. Yay! We try. We get so pretty.
I know we have 2 completely different jobs. You working in industries and me working with health industry. And I'm always getting called ma'am. I'm like, do I have that high of a voice that it sounds like a woman's voice?
Yeah. I mean,
oh,
the thing I always hated, like, because when I used to do retail, I used to have really long hair. So people would come up to me from behind, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I turned around. They're like, "Oh," they're like, "Yeah, guess what? Men can have long hair too."
Mm. I've had it a few times where people are like, "Ma'am, are you there?" And I'm like, "You're the only ma'am on the phone," but it's a guy with a deep voice. I mean, like, "You're the only ma'am on the phone." Well, I'm not a ma'am.
Yeah, you don't have like
sure.
that feminine voice or anything. It's pretty deep. You would go like, "What?"
Mhm.
Either that, or they're just trying to be a-holes or something.
I think it's because a lot of times you assume it's going to be a woman on the phone when you're calling for customer service.
I guess
It's maybe
not always though, but
and I'll even tell him like, well, I don't have a deep enough voice for you to make a mistake like that. Plus, I told you my name was Adam at the beginning of the call, which
Right.
which is not a gender neutral name.
right. At least at this moment.
Yeah, give it a few months, you know, maybe.
Yeah. One of the celebrities, they'll come out, they'll try and use it as a feminine name.
We've got celebrities with the name of Apple right now.
I mean, yeah, you've got celebrities naming their kids weird fucking names, and then you got Nick Cannon who's just popping them out left and right. So you never know what he's gonna name them.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, we actually went to go talk about sad things a minute ago, and we kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah, we got a couple more comments here from Dark Flame. Started my new job 2 weeks ago, though. Congratulations! How's that going? I know you had to switch your schedule around just to do that, and how is becoming a normal human being that gets up at normal times?
And well, then, I mean, you used to do overnights all the time, and now you're back into the land of the living.
In the car industry I'm in, I did 10 years on nights. And when I moved to where I am now, they're like, you can be on days. I'm like, really? Like, oh my God, like, that's the best thing ever.
Almost like Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when they're like, Jeffrey, can you get this? He's like, really? You'd really let me? That's your job.
What else did Dark Flame say? Oh, you said Adam. I thought you said Abby.
I've had that. They're like, I'll be like, my name is Adam. They're like, did you say Anna? Like Adam, Aaron, Adam, Evan? Like, where are you getting these extra letters from? And it's always like the old people that do that. And I'm like, okay, so maybe they don't hear it very well, but it's like Adam,
right?
Like the first man in the Bible, or however you want to do this, Adam and Eve,
Right. Oh, yeah. Maybe don't use the Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
that probably won't be good because that also relies to something else.
Yeah, true. That could be biblical or it could be biblical.
Right. Dark Flame comes back here. Yeah, last Wednesday they left me all by myself and I burned my hand on the heat gun. So that went well. Oops. Lesson learned, hopefully.
First day on the job and you already get workers' comp. There you go. That's how you...
well, always in my industry, I build cars. Right now I build the Jeep Wrangler. Mm-hmm. So I've always envisioned, when they would put me on a new line or I don't know what I'm doing. You remember the I Love Lucy one where she goes to the factory, the candy factory? They started out really slow and then they go, speed it up. And then she's got to keep up with it. That's always what I envision. When I'm learning new jobs, I'm like, oh, they're just slow rolling me now. And then they're just going to speed the fucker up on me.
Mm-hmm. That was actually one of my favorite episodes of I Love Lucy. I remember growing up.
I think that's a lot of people's favorites of theirs. That was an iconic scene.
Did you know that she's actually responsible or partially responsible for Star Trek becoming the phenomenon that it was?
Yes, I believe so. I read her autobiographical, and I believe it said something about that. Yeah,
like you always think about her with comedy, and especially like the physical comedy, but it's like no, she was actually a huge sci-fi fan, and
their whole production company, I think, helped out with it too, didn't they?
Yeah,
get it going.
A lot of, I think it was Fox that had that, and they really were like, oh yes, do we really want a show like this? And she was the one that said yes, and we'll put it under our production company so Fox doesn't take the whole hit if it doesn't take off. And because of her, it became the phenomenon that it was.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of weird.
They had their hands in a lot of things, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That company. So
I think she was actually asked if she wanted to do like at least a cameo part on Star Trek, and she said no. She thought her presence would detract from it.
Well, and yeah, it would be hard to like take, because what you're used to seeing her do, Lucy, and yeah, if you saw her all of a sudden on Star Trek, you would be like, what? You wouldn't be able to pull it out of that.
It's not like now where what was it? John Ritter was on like 3 big sitcoms. He was on Three's Company, 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter, and I thought he was on another one too. It's like now you see the same actor jumping from sitcom to sitcom, and you're like, okay, now he's this new character. Not back then. It was like
yeah, he was kind of pigeonholed too, and that's where he kind of got his start, was Three's Company, like his big break or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember in his movie Stay Tuned, which is a phenomenal movie. I love that movie. Like they make fun of him, his sitcom, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. He's making fun of himself, tongue in cheek, but it's an homage to it too.
I love when celebrities can make fun of themselves. That's why I think Seth Rogen, even if he has like box office bombs, people still forgive him because he'll sit there and make fun of the box office bomb. He'll be like, "Look at how stupid I was."
Right.
Yeah. The one that he still defends is Knocked Up, and I'm like, yeah, but that's probably because Katherine Heigl has been like just trashing it ever since it came out.
I thought that was a pretty decent one. I mean, you can't always go by like what the critics say or whatever. It's kind of what we deem, or like years later they become like cult classics. Like a lot of the ones we watch now, like back then when they came out, like Fifth Element was a horrible movie, got horrible reviews. Like in the theater, it didn't do much, but as soon as it became on videotape, everybody's like, oh fuck, this is actually awesome. There's a lot of those movies that happened too.
The same thing, actually. I watch a guy on YouTube called Minty Comedic Arts. If you ever get a chance to watch him, he does like the 10 things you didn't know and goes into like great detail about them. And then he did one recently about Idle Hands. Did you ever see that one?
That was another one that was kind of so, and then you go back and you watch it and you're like, oh.
It was actually good. It was cheesy, but it was good. And it was like he actually said that the movie went in and out of theaters only making about $5 million in its whole run. And you thought that they would have done more because they had, Jessica Alba's first movie, and she was actually good in it. You had Seth Green. You had the guy that would later become Foggy in Daredevil. And you had Devon Sawa, who, would later go on to be Fifth Element. And he had already been in Casper when he played Casper in human form. But he said the whole reason that one didn't do well was because that movie was trashed by the U.S. government because it was coming out just weeks after Columbine.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a teen horror comedy where teens were dying in the most bloody, horrific ways, and it was making light of that and making jokes about it when we had just had a tragedy. And I was like, I think that's more the studio should have pulled it and then released it like 6 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that would have been the right thing to do, and it probably would have done better.
But
I mean, again, it still now has the following. It has people that
definitely.
Yeah.
I love the movie. Even I can look at like an 18-year-old Jessica Alba, go like, okay, she's in her 40s now, but still that scene where they go to grab her off of the thing and her clothes come off, and it's like I was that 18-year-old.
That's the scene you keep watching. Got it. We figured it out.
Yep. It's like I had it on videotape, and this one part of the tape got worn really bad.
Don't know what happened. And DVDs came out, and now it works fine.
Well, I mean, remember, there was also Nadia's scene in American Pie. We just know that scene, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I was a teenager at that time, so it was okay to be looking at it going like, whoa.
Right.
But yeah, it was really great. It's a great movie. If you ever get a chance to, it's super cheesy. It's about the devil that takes over this lazy kid's hand. Literally, it just takes over his hand and he doesn't know what he's doing. The hand is doing things that he has no idea. And then when he finds out that his hand is possessed, the hand is like attacking him. It's almost like Jim Carrey, like, humor with.
Yeah. You got Dark Flame that came back in. I love Fifth Element. Yes. Like, I remember when I first saw it in the theater, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Because it was so weird of a sci-fi movie. You're like, wow, okay. And I remember not liking it at first. And then it came back out on, on VHS or DVD, whatever the fuck. And then I rewatched it and I'm like, oh, actually, I get it. All right. And then, people started, picking up on little catchphrases here and there, multipass,
Unbelievable.
yeah, all sorts of the things. And then it just kind of took off from there. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is actually really, really good.
Well, same thing.
I think I went back in the theater when they re-released it for the 20th or 25th recently, a couple years ago. And I went back in the theater and rewatched it again. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the way it should have been seen on the theater.
The same thing happened with what was that movie? The Shawshank Redemption. Remember that that bombed in the theater, and I think it's because it was up against things like Pulp Fiction, Jurassic Park. It was an R-rated movie that was really going up against a lot of heavy hitters at that time. And
also, wasn't it the name too? Like, people didn't understand what the name meant.
Yeah. So they were like, oh well, I like Morgan Freeman. I'll wait until it's on video, and then it was on video, and then it was like, boom.
Yeah.
And now it's considered one of the greatest movies of all time.
Fantastic short story by Stephen King.
I actually just saw Stand By Me recently, which was a short story by Stephen King.
You hadn't seen that?
I had seen the parodies of it, and I had seen little clips of it, like, with the pie eating content, but I'd never seen
the whole thing.
Yeah, and all the way through. And it was on, I want to say it was on either Hulu or Netflix. And I was like, I sat there with Rachel, and I was like, you know what? I've never seen this. Oh, let's sit down and watch it. And we did, and we were like, wow, she had seen it before, but we were just like, wow.
Yeah. And then all the actors that are in there, Will Wheaton,
River Phoenix,
like all those actors that are just fantastic in that. As kids, you're like, oh, I know who that is.
Well, I love how Family Guy kind of parodied it one time. And it was Adam West playing Kiefer Sutherland's character, the bully that wanted that wanted it, and he pulled out the knife and everything. And of course, he grabbed the gun. And then I love how at the end he's just like, "I won't forget this." And then it's like that's kind of like the end of his role there. And then I love how Family Guy parodied that. They're like, "I won't forget this." He's like, "You know what? You probably won't. And this is a small town. I mean, we're gonna have to leave sometimes." That's a huge hole in this story. I'm like, why did they never make a sequel?
Right. But actually, I speaking of like HBO Max and stuff, I just watched the Paul Rubens documentary that they just put out, and I know
how was that?
Mia watched it too. It was fantastic. I literally just finished it before we got on stream here, and I was almost fucking crying because he was so good. Like, and I didn't realize how much of his private life was like away from the limelight, except for obviously the scandals that went out against him. But like, yeah, he was an awesome person and brought so much joy to everybody. And then to have all that shitty stuff happen to him.
I mean, honestly, maybe he shouldn't have been doing that in the adult theater, but would it have been that big of a deal?
That's the thing, though. He always denied that happened, that he was not doing that it was like kind of a setup on him. And he was never found guilty on it, but that as soon as you say Paul Rubens, that's the first thing you think of. Kind of like, Marilyn Manson. The first thing you think of in the 90s was he had his ribs taken out so he could you know what? And that's always the thing that got it. You always remember is the bad stuff, but like he never was found guilty. He always denied it. And there was another scandal that went around that I don't remember that they talk about in the second half also, where he was accused of child pornography and being a pedophile.
Mhm.
And again, he was not found guilty. And it was just that he had collections of like old gay porn that they were trying to use against him. Just to, sully his name more. But yeah, it sucks that we did that to him when he was such a great actor and,
A giving person, yeah.
right. Like, so yeah, there at the end, I was like, oh man. and yeah, and even at the end, like, he didn't let people know that he had cancer. Like, even the people doing the documentary, they say it in there, like, we had no clue that he was fighting cancer the entire time that he was giving these interviews. Like, he was that private of a person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely go check that out. It's on HBO Max. It's a great documentary on Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
And I know Koimiya would be chiming in here too.
Oh yeah. Hopefully he'll be back next week and he can give his 2 cents on that. I'm hoping to be able to watch that. I don't have HBO Max right now. I've got Hulu, but I've got it from what it was before, where it was Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. Even though I don't watch a whole lot of sports, it was the better deal. So,
right.
But now that they give Hulu, Disney Plus, and Max, I was like, I need to switch.
Right. But it's something you said of that third one.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of some childhood memory people and actors that brought a lot of people joy, we missed this last week because we weren't on here. If you can hit the button there. George Wendt, the beloved beer-loving Norm on Cheers, he died at the age of 76. He was from Chicago, and also a lot of people know him from Cheers, but he also had a recurring role on Saturday Night Live where he was part of Chris Farley's sketch, The Bears.
You're right.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I don't know what he died of though. I know he didn't take care of himself very, very much. He was pretty heavy, but I'll always remember him as Norm from.
I mean, that's like his main thing that everybody remembers him for. But yeah, I think it also said he was also with Second City, which is up there with like where we get a lot of our comedic actors from.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live actually pulls a lot from Second City. I know Dana Carvey and Mike Myers both started there. Chris Farley, I think Gilda Radner started there too, but I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
He was a doting family man, well beloved, friend and confidant to all those lucky enough to have known him. I'm really sad that we had lost Norm. Norm was like, I remember watching Cheers with my mom and just, every time he walked into that bar, everybody going, Norm,
Right.
Or sometimes, I remember there was one episode that I remember very vividly, and it was, he walks in there was a scene where they were holding a baby. It was like a brand new, like newborn baby, and everyone was like fawning all over the baby, going like, oh, how cute. And then as soon as Norm walked in, you heard like a baby's voice go, Norm, like that. Like nobody else said anything. They were all like looking at the baby, and he's like, smart kid,
right?
Pour a beer, or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's even the babies know who Norm is. But yeah, he appeared in movies. He was in Dreamscape, House, Fletch, Gung Ho, Never Say Die. He was in Spice World, which I was kind of surprised about that. But he was also in the Little Rascals movie. He was the one where they got a lot of pennies and they wanted to go buy some lumber, thinking that they'd get enough to build a treehouse. So they put down what's maybe about $4 worth of pennies, and they're like, how much can we get? And he just like hands them a little small wooden peg kind of thing. He's like, they're all surprised. And I was like, yeah, that was like probably one of his greatest cameos.
I don't remember that one. Okay. And yeah, Spice World, not high on my list to watch. I don't think I've ever watched it. So
yep. And he was the grumpy father of son Macaulay Culkin, who likes his music loud in Michael Jackson's Black or White music video.
Okay.
Directed by John Landis, who I am surprised he's not in jail, to be honest.
Mm.
John Landis, he was the director in charge, I think, director and producer of the what was that? The Twilight Zone movie.
Yes.
That had that big helicopter crash that killed those 2 child actors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the one that kept telling the chopper to fly lower. I don't know why this keeps freaking out on me, but he was the one telling him to fly lower and basically caused the crash. But he got away with, like, they found him not guilty, and I was like, wow.
Yikes.
But yeah, I didn't realize Jason Sudeikis was actually his nephew, the only son of 6 sisters.
I didn't know that either.
Yep. So, and yep, we've got a few deaths to go through here, so we'll save the controllers up part.
Yeah, it was a somber 2 weeks we had here, especially this week.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime. I know this is morbid, but anytime you get a bunch of celebrities like this, I always think of the meme of the Grim Reaper and a vending machine trying to get Donald Trump, and he pulls out Norm, or pulls out the wrong one, and they're like, is Trump even in this thing?
Yeah.
Whoever the meme they're going after. Lately, it's been the Trump ones that I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen that one too. And I saw one. It was like shortly after Betty White passed away. He was like, "Come on, I want Trump." Trump. Ah, crap! I got Betty White. People are gonna be mad.
Right.
But yeah, there was another one just recently here too. The Incredible Hulk author and actually co-creator of Space Cases on Nickelodeon from the early to mid 90s. Yeah, Peter David passed away at the age of 68. And as you can see here, yeah, he had a 12-year run as an author for the Incredible Hulk. Yeah. He was making the Bruce Banner Hulk divide more explicitly, a superpowered version of the dissociative identity disorder, because, we have to actually say what the disorders are instead of just letting them be superheroes.
Right.
He also had runs on Aquaman, Young Justice, Supergirl, and the Sensational Spider-Man. So he worked with both DC and Marvel. Outside of comics, right here, he also wrote scripts for movies and television. He co-created Space Cases, an early vehicle for Firefly, and Family Law. I've never heard of this one, but what is that? Jules Satate? I'm not sure how to say that.
Yeah, I don't either.
And he also wrote episodes of Babylon 5, Young Justice, and Ben 10, Alien Force. So, very multi-talented man.
Yeah, the comic industry definitely misses him.
Mm-hmm. I can see why. I mean, somebody that's been that influential in the industry.
Right.
And I would play the theme song for this, but we might get pinged again like we did last time.
I mean, we got pinged, but it didn't last. On my video it said it was okay. It said it found copyright material or whatever, but it's still dumb how it does it. I think they have to, when you're doing a YouTube, if you've ever put a YouTube video, I think if you say you can remix it, I think then it's allowed for other people to bring it up on screen and talk about it. I think that's how that works.
I'm told that's how it works. I don't know. But
yeah, it's totally depends on what you're streaming. Because I've seen people, doing articles or talking about videos, and then they don't seem to have a problem, but I don't know.
Unless they have a team working for them that fights it all the time.
Right.
But yep, Alf Clausen, the Emmy-winning composer for The Simpsons, has died at 84. There. And now we have a little bit of it there.
Yep.
Yeah, veteran composer. He's won 2 Emmys, 30 nominations, whose whimsical scores brighten such television series as The Simpsons,
Moonlighting.
Yep. And purely coincidentally, Elf
He did that one too. Okay, so Alf did Alf.
Elf did Elf. I heard that they were thinking about doing a reboot of Elf, and I'm like, yeah, but I think the cast and crew hated that show enough that they won't come back.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they were going to do a complete reboot or like a reimagination or whatever they want to call it, like they've done with a lot of the 80s nostalgia stuff.
Well, with Elf, they ended it on a cliffhanger where he got seen by the FBI and they were taking him in, and then they ended the series. But then they did a movie, like a made-for-TV movie that showed him in Area 51, and I think he got away, but that didn't do very well because it had like none of the original actors were there. There was not a lot of comedy. And it was like, what are you doing? This is just a cash grab. But I think they said that he got back to his home planet. And I'm like, you know what? They could definitely do this with a new family. But I don't know if it would hold the same magic.
Yeah, it was kind of like a lightning in the bottle at that time on TV. Like we hadn't seen something like that really.
You'd seen the Muppets, but that was...
Right. This is where, you're trying to ground it even more. And yeah. I mean, it was good. I remember it. I mean, I used to watch the shit out of it.
Oh, we all did as kids, Actually, I remember in the first couple seasons, Alf would want to eat cats, and they had to like tone that down because they were afraid that children were going to try to hurt their household cats because Alf did it.
Like what?
Because don't try this at home.
Right. Executives always seem to think that, like, kids are just mindless things. Oh, we saw it, so we can do it. Like, I mean, yeah, there might be one or two, but we're not all idiots. Thanks.
90, I'd say 98% of us are not idiots. Yeah, he died Thursday at his Valley Village home in Los Angeles. His daughter, Karen Clausen, told Hollywood Reporter he was diagnosed with a progressive I'm not sure how to say that, supranuclear palsy about 8 years ago. So he was another one that was suffering in silence.
Yeah, I don't even know what technically that is.
But yeah, he from The Simpsons' second season in 1990 until the 28th season in 2017, Clausen crafted many of the spirited melodies that contributed to the cutting edge lunacy of the Fox animated show. I'd say Family Guy is more lunacy than Simpsons, but Simpsons started lunacy. Damn it,
Right? They're the ones that started that stuff.
From 23 Emmy nominations, he along with lyricist Ken Keeler, won in 1997, 1998 for the songs "We Put the Spring in Springfield" and "You're Checkin' In," a musical tribute to the Betty Ford Center.
Oh, so he did more than just the theme. He did a lot of the musical stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thinks of the main theme for Simpsons, but there's a lot more to it.
Right.
Yeah, the show was just concluded its first season. Its opening theme was written by Danny Elfman, seemed to lightheartedly compared to what he had done in the past 5 years. So, yep, we'll have to controllers up for him too. We got too many of these.
Sorry to say, but yeah, next.
Yeah. And this next one hurts really bad, at least for me. Did you ever watch the show MASH?
No, what is that?
Really? No, what's a MASH? Loretta Swit, who played Hot Lips Houlihan, Major Margaret Houlihan, who they called Hot Lips on the show.
I don't think nowadays people wouldn't know what MASH was, but like our era growing up, everybody knew what MASH was. MASH was the hit series in like the 70s and 80s. Like that was the show back in the day. Like everybody compared everything to MASH and how that was ran.
A lot of what you see, what you found in MASH was actually the first time they allowed things on TV.
That too, right?
it was I mean, they had dramatic comedies before, but usually they were a sitcom with some drama episodes, or they were a drama with some funnier episodes. This was the first one that like every episode, or just about every episode, like, you know, seamlessly weaved the drama in with the comedy.
Right.
It could almost be marketed, I would say, not a dramedy, but maybe a dark comedy. Because I mean, when it got funny, it was hilarious. But when it got dark, it was like, oh my god,
Right.
it was a baby. It was a baby. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that episode. That was the very final episode. That was Hawkeye was going a little crazy. He was actually checked into a psych ward, and it turned out the whole reason it was because his whole group was out on a beach trip, just having a little fun, you know, in the middle of war, trying to get away, and they thought that there were no enemies around. And when they got back into the bus, it turned out like some of the people that they saw there, or I'm sorry, where they were at, it was attacked, and they had to like help people and like kind of stitch them back up, and they had to use the bus as, you know, as a kind of a makeshift operating room.
Right.
And they had to help people, and then it turned out like they were picking up some civilians that were around there, and one of them had a baby, and they found out like there was some enemies around the area, and the newborn baby kept crying, and he was like, keep that kid quiet. Well, in his mind it was a chicken, and in the real world it was a baby, and it turned out she's smothered it. You know,
I don't remember the last one. I know I've watched probably every episode because it was another one of those ones where they would rerun it all the time. So you'd be like, all right, I got nothing else to watch. All right, we're watching MASH.
And is it just me? MASH seemed to start off as like a funny comedy with like sprinkles of drama. And then after like the third season, it became a hard-hitting drama with sprinkles of comedy.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but
no.
But yep, one of the major players in there was Major Margaret Houlihan, who she tried to be no nonsense, but Hawkeye's character did not make that. Or I'm sorry, Alan Alda's character didn't always make that easy. Yep, she passed away at the age of 87. Honestly, I thought she was going to last a lot longer, but yeah, CBS aired the show MASH from 1972 to 1983, revolving around the life of the 407th, the Mobile Army Surgical Surgical Hospital, which is what MASH stands for, which gave the show its name. The 2.5-hour finale on February 28th, in 1983, lured in 100 million viewers, the most watched episode for a scripted series ever. And that still hasn't been broken, not even by Friends, Frasier.
Yep.
Yeah,
they broke a lot of things with that show.
And actually, I think they were the first ones to be able to swear, like not swear in general, but like say some really hard words like bitch. I think they were the first ones that got away with that.
You had a cross-dressing person on there. Like that was very faux pas back then.
Yeah, so, I mean, imagine that kind of thing today. That like the LGBTQ community would be up in arms. I mean, let's just be honest, they would be, because you have Klinger wearing a dress to try and show that he's crazy to get out of the army, and everyone making jokes at his expense for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that was
a lot of it wouldn't fly.
that was funny, and that was almost like roll on the floor hilarious back then, but that wouldn't fly today.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean they would use a lot of racial slurs, but a lot of times it was the American Army using racial slurs against the North Koreans, and then it was usually somebody there telling them don't call them that. But I'm like, I don't know, could you get away with that now?
No, not at all. I mean, half the shit you couldn't get away with. Like we've said it before, you couldn't make Blazing Saddles in today's standards. You couldn't.
No.
It would never get the okay, or it'd be like a hard not rated or a rated R. Like, no.
Which is sad, because I mean, comedy is supposed to kind of offend everybody, but
right,
maybe one day we'll get back.
It's supposed to offend and open your eyes at the same time. Like George Carlin, like yeah, he's offending, but he's also educating.
Mm-hmm. My mother-in-law actually got to interview George Carlin in the 90s.
Nice. That would be awesome.
She worked for a newspaper. She was actually an editor there, but they didn't have a regular reporter to talk to him. And I thought she actually got to sit and talk to him, but she said it was actually an over the phone interview. And she's like, I didn't really like him. I thought he was too brash. I was like, he's always made it pretty clear he's not a big fan of reporters.
Right.
He liked some reporters, but I was like, if you sat there and tried to be super professional, he wasn't having it.
Right.
I would have liked to have interviewed him and just been like, all right, interview style completely out of the window. Let's just talk.
Right.
I don't care what the people want to know.
Throw that out the door.
All right. Yep. And unfortunately, we're not done yet. We still got 2 more here. This is a sad opening. We should not.
I mean, not really an opening now. We've been doing this for almost 50 minutes, so.
Opening question mark. Oh wait, that could be pervy. Let's not do that.
Oh boy.
Kool and the Gang. Michael Sumler dies in a Georgia crash at the age of 71. Kool and the Gang is one of the. Is that like more Motown or is that more kind of dance jazz?
I don't know what it would be, Claire. I would think more Motown would be my guess.
Or they call it a funk band, but yeah, Kool and the Gang died. Yeah. It's a lot of the songs that you hear at weddings that you probably don't know the artist of. It's probably them.
It's probably them, right?
It's either them or Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
He died Sunday night in a plane crash on Veterans Memorial Highway in Cobb County in Georgia. He was 71. It feels, I know Kool and the Gang hasn't really been around in years, but I know that they've done a lot of things on their own. But that's just really sad to lose him so suddenly like that,
Right.
So
you said plane crash. Was it a
plane crash or was it a car crash?
It says traffic, so I'm guessing car.
Yeah, car crash.
Car crash.
Okay, my bad.
I was like, wait a minute. I don't see we have had a lot of plane crashes recently, but
okay, yeah, here it is. Sumler died on the scene. The other driver was not hurt. Imagine being in a car crash and you find out that it was somebody iconic like that.
Right. So on the thing there, it says a blend of funk, jazz, and soul. So they're kind of their own thing. I always thought of them as like a funk band.
So yeah, and they did the songs like Celebration, celebrate good times, come on. Then they also did Jungle Boogie, Jungle. And nobody can ever know the name of this song because they don't say it at all in the song. Get down on it. Get down on. That's like literally the only song, the lyrics in the song.
Right.
I'm like, who wrote that song? Nobody. They literally.
Oh no! Look who we got in the chat. What's up, Cormia? Look who decided to join us.
What up, bitches? What? Oh, sorry. I love
the extra life sign. Yeah, there you go.
Extra life.
Which I don't think you've signed up for yet. That's probably his subtle hint to.
I thought I did. Okay, I will.
I don't see you on the team.
Okay, I'll get in there. Just got to.
Go ahead.
Oh, he says he just got to Minnesota.
Okay, Minnesota, eh? I think that's them, right? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm not good at accents, so. But yes, we are doing Extra Life. The 3 of us. Maybe others, if they can participate. We still have to look into that. We want to help out, right? So I don't have the link handy, but I will get it. I just put it out on
I'm getting called out here. I said I thought I'd signed up. He says no, you haven't.
Oh
shit! Oh, I'm getting called out in a public setting.
But yes, we will be doing Extra Life, and you can donate now, but the event doesn't happen until I believe October. So we will be streaming to sponsor that. Sure would be nice if you were here, Koimiya, to explain it to everybody.
You
The
could
veteran.
Yeah. You could technically use your phone like I had to for a few minutes there. No, you don't have to. We're just messing with you, man. But or are we? No.
Just don't look at
No.
the beginning of the video. That's all.
It was him. It was him.
Nothing to see here.
It was that guy. He said it.
He knew I was going to say something. I told him I would. I mean, I don't think he'd expect anything less of us saying something.
Well, like I said, I got off lucky because you guys decided not to do the show last week, so nobody could mess with me for not being in the state to do it.
Yeah, we should have just for that. Just come on live. Hey, where the hell's Cyclops? Oh, I guess we got to go home. That would have been the show. That would have been actually kind of pretty funny. We should. Oh well.
Maybe we should like film ourselves going like, all right, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Up, show's over, and then just like good night, everybody.
Yeah. That could be fun if we need to just put up a show real quick.
But yeah, we still have this sucks. We still have one more death to go through here.
One more to go.
Yeah. Actor Ed Gale. Now, if you don't know who he is, he a lot of times played Chucky. Now I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, wasn't that the voice actor?" It's like, yes, but a lot of times when you saw Chucky like running off to the side, or when you'd see him almost acting human, it was this guy. They were filming him from the back, or he was doing the stunts that you couldn't use with the puppet, that because it would just destroy it. Yeah, it was him. Known for his role as Chucky in the Child's Play film series. He died at the age of 61. That seems too young to die. Gale's reportedly died.
I think little people or with dwarfism, I think they have a shorter lifespan as it is.
Yeah, typically.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. He said it was Ed's niece also confirmed his passing, just with the heavy heart. So yeah, he was also in a lot of other things too. He was born with dwarfism, made his film debut as the title character in Howard the Duck in 1986 before taking on the role of Chucky in the original Child's Play. 2 years later, a role he reprised in the sequels Child's Play 2, Bride of Chucky in 1998. Other film roles include Spaceballs, the Jingle All the Way, Tiptoes. Jingle All the Way. The Jungle Book, not Jingle All the Way. I don't know why I'm saying that, but the Jungle Book and Tiptoes, as well as starring in the children's show Land Before Time in the 1990s, and appearance in Weird Science, Family Matters, Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, and My Name Is Earl. I was like, when I saw Family Matters, I was like, who was he? But it was like he was actually on a date with Laura, and she couldn't get over the fact that he was a little person. Yeah, and then it was
trying to figure out where he was, who he was in Weird Science. Like, I've watched that movie tons of times.
Yeah, I don't know who he was there. In Jingle All the Way, I thought he was maybe that short elf or that short Santa that was, but no, that was Vern Troyer, who was Mini-Me.
Right.
So, and I think it's time because we're finally through all of the celebrity deaths. We can do this. Thank you all for all of the entertainment, for giving us childhoods, for making our childhoods good. And rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace.
All right. I never know which controller to grab. I've literally just started grabbing one.
Yeah, I made sure this time I grabbed the God of War one just to have a different one.
Yeah.
And then I did post the Extra Life. It is in the chat, and there it is on screen. Also, if you want to go to our group, Garbage In, Garbage Out, and then you can go to individuals, but we're all working for the same thing. So,
and because I'm being yelled at, I might as well just do it now.
Yelled at.
I'm being yelled at here. I feel like it anyway. But yeah, I will definitely. I thought honestly, I thought I was already on there, but I will get on there now.
We sent a link where you can join the group through that, and you can just sign up that way, and then it'll automatically add you to us.
Okay. All right. Yep. And
I know. While we're talking about that, I know Dark Flame was debating on if they wanted to help us out with it, but they are also in another country, so we don't know how that's going to work. I know the Looker, when he was on here, he was curious about it, and he would be awesome to help us out. But again, he's in Canada, so we have to look into if people from other countries can help do it also. I don't think we've.
I sent an email to Extra Life about that, and I never got anything back. So,
did you? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know if you actually looked into it.
Yeah, I sent him a message, and I haven't got anything back yet. So I don't know who saw it, or
I guess when you sign up, see if there's anything in like whatever everything everybody scrolls through.
Yeah.
if it has that, if you can see if people from other countries can come, because I know they said they wanted to help us out. So
yeah, it'll be great, and I hope they do, because if we got people from all over the world that want to help out, why not let them help out? It's helping sick kids in the hospitals and their families through the power of video games. Right. What is not to love about that? And I mean, if you watch we can run the video here at some point, but man, that video about how it started with a little girl in Texas,
right?
Watch that and try not to cry. But yeah, also speaking about things that make you want to cry, I don't know. Did I like how you do that? Oh boy!
And we just had a segment of like people that all passed away. That wasn't enough to make me want to cry.
I'm
apparently not crying. You are.
Why are you all blurry? I used to do that to my wife. I'd be like, "I'm not crying. You're crying. But why are you all blurry? Why are you moving all around?" She'd be like, "Shut up." But yeah, the Geralt, the actor who played Geralt in The Witcher 3, is saying that people calling the Witcher 4 woke is just stupid. And as you can see here, read the damn books.
Right.
I love that. Read the damn books. Yeah, there were a lot of people that were upset that you're going to play as her in the Witcher 4, and I'm like, she's been a main character in a lot of stories, Yeah, right here he says, Doug, I'm not sure how to say his name. Is it Cockle? Cockle?
I would think so.
Yeah, the voice of Geralt has hit back at the criticism of The Witcher 4, focusing on Ciri, and told so-called fans of the franchise to, quote, read the damn books. That's just stupid, Cockle said, and of the backlash against CD Projekt Red's next The Witcher role-playing game, sparked due to it featuring Ciri as the protagonist for the first time instead. He says it's not woke, Cockle continued. Speaking during the video published by Fall Damage, there's nothing woke about it. Ciri's a cool character from The Witcher, and they're going to focus on that character, and that's awesome. I actually am looking forward to it. Yeah, I like seeing things from like a different point of view, and I mean, she's very much got a different point of view.
Right. I haven't actually read the books. I have them in audiobook form. I just haven't gotten to them. But a buddy of mine did, and he said, yeah, that it changes perspective a lot in the books. And characters change. So, I mean, exactly what they're saying, like, because you're going off of a source material of that, it's not like it's woke. And a lot of people nowadays want to label it as that because of whoever your protagonists are.
Oh, if it's not a straight white male, it's woke.
Right, pretty much.
If they're gay, this is a woke game. If they're black, it's a woke game. If it's a woman, it's a woke game. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
You sound so childish,
Yep.
Yeah, still despite Geralt continuing to have some sort of presence in The Witcher 4, the confirmation last year that his adoptive daughter would be taking center stage of the next game and presumably the whole of the next Witcher game trilogy sparkled an inevitable outcry of the series going woke from a minority online. Yeah, it's the minority, but they're a very vocal, very loud minority.
Correct.
It's like they think if they're the loudest, that all of a sudden we care that they, yeah, we can't just have Geralt for every single game, and that's true. I think some of the best games are the ones that switch up protagonists, or at least let you play as somebody else for a little while, even if you keep the main one.
Right.
Like, look at Uncharted. I know Nathan Drake has been the protagonist for the main 4 games, but at least in most of those games, you can play as somebody else for a little while.
Right.
The Last of Us, you get to play as Ellie for a good chunk of the first game, and then you play as her for the second game, and it was kind of a surprise that you got to play as Abby. Now, whatever you feel about playing as her, that's right. Whatever, but I don't necessarily like the route that they went, but I also am like, okay, but it also forced me to see this game in a different light than what I thought I was going to see it in.
Right.
So it did its job and surprised me.
Right. You got Dark Flame that came in. They're taking this whole woke thing too far, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. It's a label that's been thrown around now too much, like on everything that doesn't fit into certain people's status quo, and they just want to use it kind of like the leftist and all that bullshit on that side. Like they're just throwing labels around so that they can tarnish whatever it is.
And the funny thing is, they think saying woke is an insult. It's like, no, it's not.
It's never an insult, but they want to turn it into one.
It's like, how's that working for you?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that article goes on for a while. But yeah, basically just he's telling them all to just STFU, which I say the same thing.
Right.
And then, yeah, speaking of another thing, this was another one. This isn't going on the woke thing, but there was also the Mind's Eye co-CEO claims that there's a concerted effort by some to trash the game and the studio. Suggests people are being paid or using spam bots to post negative comments. Now, if you don't know this, the CEO of this game, of this studio, is actually one of the former workers of Rockstar Games. And he thinks there's a concerted effort by Rockstar Games. He hasn't come out and specifically said he thinks it's Rockstar, but everyone knows that's who he's pointing at. And he's basically saying that there's a concerted effort, but I'm like, I don't know if you saw this, but while this... Okay, I don't know why I did that. Yeah. But basically, there was no... I didn't know about this game until like last week.
Yeah, same here. I had no clue about it, and I don't remember what drew my eye to it, whether it was a Facebook ad or something else. It was some sort of advertisement or somebody oh no, it was PlayStation. PlayStation Access was like things you need to know about this game, and I was like, I didn't even know that was a game. All right, that looks, watching this trailer, you're like, fuck, that actually looks pretty damn good. It's almost like a GTA kind of thing. I'm like, this might actually be a good game.
With this kind of stuff, to me it looks like a combination of like Cyberpunk 2077 and Grand Theft Auto.
Correct.
But it was like, yeah, I hadn't even really heard of this game. So how can there be a concerted effort against a game that had like no marketing behind it?
Right.
That's also the problem I think Thunderbolts had with Marvel's Thunderbolts that just went into theaters. They were saying it's one of Marvel's biggest flops that they've had. And I'm like, okay, well, one, when you make a movie that has a $500 million budget and you have to make $1 billion to make a profit,
Well, yeah, I was just watching a video on that. Like, the other problem is the marketing on it. They did a lot of marketing, hands down, a lot of marketing. The problem was you needed to be able to know who most of those characters were, which were people that were in the television shows that weren't on the big screen before. You needed that, so you needed to do homework, and then also the fact that you named it Thunderbolts, but it's been enough time that I can put the spoilers out that it's an Avengers movie. It's a new Avengers. At the end, that's what's said. These are the new Avengers. So, like, if you had it named that from the get-go, it might have changed things. People might have gone and seen it more. I thought it did, kind of decently for what it
if you had
came
called
out.
it Thunderbolts, the New Avengers.
Or I know what they were trying to do. That's why they had the asterisk at the end. It was, that was the reveal at the end that they, these are the new Avengers. And they were trying to, play tongue in cheek with that. And then, had that ad campaign afterwards where they went around and changed the posters, which is, pretty clever, but it just didn't get people excited about it.
And see, you say that they put into marketing. I remember just seeing a few posters, and it wasn't until like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the movie was coming out that I started seeing some ads.
No, I saw like all the trailers. I saw the ads. Like it was constantly popping up on my Facebook and stuff. So I saw them. Well, maybe man, they're targeting me because they know I'm a Marvel fanboy.
So am I. They left me out. No.
Right.
But I did end up seeing it, and I'm not going to trash the movie. It was really good, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't usually watch the Disney shows. Not that I don't want to. There's so much to watch,
Right. There's so much to watch, so little time. You never know. Like, do I have time to invest that into it?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like how I haven't done the new Daredevil just because it's the same thing. Like it's a big time investment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're saying the ratings for that might put the future of that in jeopardy. And I'm like, the problem is you put it on Disney instead of on Netflix, where everyone fell in love with it in the first place. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's the same show. And it's like, yes, but no.
Well, I thought I read today or this week that they're doing a season 2, and that the guy that played Luke Cage and the other one that I don't like, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, thank you. Those two actors were in New York filming, so they're saying that they're going to be on the next season of Daredevil. So it will continue going.
I know the actor who played Iron Fist said that he wanted better writing for his character, which because I don't think he was ever bad, but
yeah, I'm just not a fan of that character, and yeah, maybe they just didn't do it right, or just that mythos of the Iron Fist I didn't like. I don't like, Luke Cage was good the way that they did his story and whatnot, and the character. I don't know. I've just never been a fan of that.
I thought they were trying to weave Iron Fist in with like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
I mean, he kind of is. He's linked in there somewhat, so I don't know.
So maybe for the next Shang-Chi movie, they'll add him. Hopefully they make another one, because that was actually a pretty decent one. A lot of people are like, oh, Marvel hasn't had a good movie since Endgame. And I'm like, no, they've had some decent ones. It's just
Again, yeah, this is going off of like what I was watching on Screen Crush, which is another good show on YouTube if you want to look it up. They were just talking about how, in the first Avengers, like setting up the Avengers, those movies, they had some bad movies in there, right? But they weren't like back to back to back to back. Whereas this time we've had a lot of duds, and you also had to do homework. You had to go watch the TV shows to know who this character that's now showing up here. So there was a lot more homework, and you had to keep up or you lost. And just the continuity between all said projects was not good. So they were not keeping the story going from one to one. You would skip things, or they wouldn't completely explain something, and you're like, the fuck is this character doing in here?
That's what I really liked about Deadpool. You didn't have to do any kind of homework for it to go in there and just enjoy a Deadpool movie.
I mean, they usually try and they'll do some expedition where they'll set it up. Even in the Thunderbolts, where they're all in that room together, they kind of do a little expedition of who each character is, right?
Mhm.
And then they continue the main story so that people that didn't know or whatnot, they still can get a grasp of who the character is.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's how I learned a lot of them. Because I knew that one was Captain America from like another universe, and I knew
No, he
or-
takes over Captain America before Sam Wilson does.
right.
And that was from Winter Soldier and Cap, I think, or whatever it was.
And then the main character, I can't think of her name, the one with the white hair. I knew she was in the Black Widow movie.
Right.
And so was
she was also showed up in a couple of the shows. Like she showed up, I believe, in Hawkeye, I think it was. So
and
you
David
kind of
Harbour.
knew that you knew who the character was. Again, if you watch those shows.
And David Harbour was also in Black Widow.
Yes, that character came from there too.
Yeah, but these were all characters where it was like, okay, I know some of them. I don't have an emotional investment into them, though.
Right.
And
the
then,
only
of
one
course,
you would really know is Bucky.
Right. And that was really great to have Julia Louis-Dreyfus in there.
Right.
I honestly, she was like I'm saying, go see the movie if you haven't seen it. Definitely see it. It's a great movie. Honestly, I think it's one of Marvel's best since Endgame.
It was actually the story was good, the comedy was good, you're showing off all these, the century was good, like it was good all in all cylinders. I just don't think I think people are kind of burnt out and don't want to have to do said homework to go into a movie.
Mm-hmm. Or just do like Deadpool did and be like, oh, and that was like in Loki season 5 or season 1 episode 5. It's like, oh, okay,
Right.
He just explained that right off the bat. Okay, that's why I don't understand it, but now they've explained it.
Right.
I still love the story of that. And I guess what's his name? Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they've put out there that they are signed on for more Marvel projects, but they won't say which ones it is, and everyone's thinking it's going to be Secret Wars.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars, would be my guess. And then I think this news came out the week you were gone, so we would have talked about it then. But they pushed back both those movies, so now they're not coming out in May of the years they were coming out. Now they're coming out at the end of the year in Christmas of like 2026 and 2027, I think.
Yeah.
So those got pushed back. So it changes the timeline on some of it too. Like, because Spider-Man was supposed to come out after that. So I think they're changing some of the story on that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it'll mess up some of the schedules of everything that, that's going forward. But
I know Tom Holland has actually said now that Deadpool is part of the MCU, there was always a kind of a tongue-in-cheek, almost like, kind of thing, like a really good relationship with Spider-Man and Deadpool. And he would actually like to work with Ryan Reynolds. And I'm like, make this happen. Because that just seems like that would be fun.
that would be a good one too.
Make this happen.
That'll be the next Deadpool. Or somebody in my stream this week was saying they want to see Deadpool Kills Everybody, which is a comic series they had where he goes through the multiverse and like kills all the characters. They want to see that in live action. And I'm like, that could be the end of the whole mutant saga. They could have Deadpool doing that maybe, and he becomes a villain.
Didn't they kind of already do that at the end of Deadpool 2 where he was going through murder, like just cleaning up the timeline?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But it was more like in depth in the comments and stuff. So,
there was actually a scene of Deadpool 2 that was cut, and they actually said it was because they didn't want to show child, like infant mortality on there. It was because Deadpool was supposed to go back in time, and like he was at the end there where he was messing with the watch. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to go to the day that Hitler was born.
Oh,
and he was supposed to. He sneaks into the into the ward, where the newborn babies are. And he was literally supposed to pick him up and go like, "Oh, you're so cute. Too bad you're going to turn into like an evil son of a bitch," And then he was like putting him down, and then he was literally supposed to go like put his hands there like towards the camera, and then he was supposed to go like, I can't do this. I know what he turns into, but he's so helpless right now. I'm getting Cable. Cable loves killing kids, something like that. And then later on, you were supposed to see Cable goes back. He's like, Wade said I have to do this, and then you just see it like you see the gun go off to the camera, so you don't obviously see it.
Right.
But I don't remember if it was Fox or if it was the producers that just said we can't do that. And but you can have Ryan Reynolds travel back as Deadpool to kill Ryan Reynolds reading the script for Green Lantern.
Yes.
I just love that.
That helps all the fanboys, right?
I just love that. You see the blood go on the script, and he's like, you see Ryan laying like that, and he's like, "You're welcome, Canada." So, but yeah, back to the story we were talking about here. Yeah, I think their big problem was that they really didn't advertise. Now, that doesn't mean that the game will be a flop, but I think it would have helped if they'd at least had
after watching that PlayStation Access thing about what this game is and watching that trailer again, I think that'll be a day one I'll pick up. I'll be like, I'll give it a shot. I'll stream it. Why not? It looks pretty good.
It really does. Even watching it without the sound on, I'm just like, yes, I want to do this.
Right. And I believe the story's pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm. And if you got somebody who used to work for Rockstar working on this, the stories there they're never bad. Sometimes they're a little janky, but they're never bad though.
Right. And then I think we have Dark Flame that came in here again when we were talking about the woke stuff. Live action Little Mermaid. Let's make her black so we include everyone. No, Disney didn't make her like that. Everybody gets all upset when they change even I think that people were getting mad at the new Hermione in the new live action Harry Potter they're about to do, because it's not like the what we're used to seeing. I think it's a black person again, which fine. Even they changed Snape too. Snape is a black person also, but the actor they got is phenomenal, and I think it'll do an awesome job. So let them do their thing, and then you can judge them on it. I mean, they'll judge them either way, but
yeah. Well, remember when Samuel L. Jackson first came on as Nick Fury? Nick Fury was written as a white guy. Right. In the comics.
And he wasn't black until they went to the Ultimate Universe. Then he was a black guy. So they kind of took that character, and that's who they used as their Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm. And it's worked out. Can you imagine anybody but Samuel L. Jackson?
No. Then we got a YouTube person hopping in here. Jay Fane. Yo guys, hey, how's it going? Thank you for watching us. We appreciate it.
Very much appreciate it. Yep, sorry we missed it. It says you were at 50. Oh, a minute ago. I was looking at a different time on there.
No. We that one I got.
But yeah, they also did that with what's his name, with Kingpin, because remember that was written as a white character, and then in Daredevil it was played by Michael Clark Duncan.
Right.
And then now in the Daredevil show, which is weird because I always saw Kingpin as more of a Spider-Man character, but now. Yeah,
he is more of a Spider-Man character, but he's branched out.
And now he's played to perfection by Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes, but they were trying to go for in Spider-Man or in the original Daredevil, they were going more for they wanted the mask that Kingpin always had, and D'Onofrio kind of brings both. I mean, he's lost a lot of weight, but he's still good. He gets it across.
Mm-hmm. He's terrifying on screen. It's I've seen this guy in the good guy roles. It's oh, what a sweet man. But then I also saw him sugar in water. In
Right.
a few seconds, you're not even going to be matter. The Men in Black. It's like that's
Right.
the first time I remember seeing him as a villain, and I was like, but he's not the villain. It's just his skin.
Right.
Oh, and I love that movie. You know what? I don't care what's going on with Will Smith. I love that movie.
Yeah. Back when Will Smith was, relatively decent.
Mhm. I guess he's got a new rap album coming out, and apparently he
It already
makes.
came out, didn't it?
I thought they were still working on it,
Okay.
but I know that he said that he makes references to the Chris Rock slap, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Can we just get past that now?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a thing. Like, it's you gotta mention it, right? Like it would be a disservice if you didn't. Again, he's got to like probably make fun of himself, right?
Mhm.
To get around it.
Did Chris Rock ever forgive him for that, or publicly? I don't know if he ever did.
I don't know.
I don't know if I get humiliated in front of the entire world like that, I might take a few years.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing.
But does that put Madagascar in jeopardy now? Because remember, it's Jada Pinkett Smith and Chris Rock are two of the main characters on there, even though it's just their voices.
I mean, were they gonna make another one of those?
It's Hollywood. They make another one of everything. So, but yeah, so this is actually something that you and I were talking about here just a little bit ago, before we went live. So Texas is actually getting ready to ban social media for anyone under 18. The bill now it's not ready to go right now. The bill still needs to pass the Senate vote and get approval from the governor. But the fact that they're even trying this, right now, most social medias are 13. How do you ban that for that though?
I mean, I guess like when you put in your age, like anybody under that, they obviously wouldn't be able to sign up for it. But I mean, all you have to do is just lie on your age, right? Like,
like you do for some certain other sites,
right? Certain other sites, and or like getting alcohol. Like, I don't see how you ban that. And
just give them an ID that says
it.
McLovin.
Right. Everybody's McLovin all of a sudden on Facebook.
Yep.
How do you enforce it? Like, again, like it's that thing where like I think government's trying to do too much. Like it should be up to the parents, like if they want them to be on there. I understand. Like if you're gonna put regulatory restrictions on something, it needs to be on Facebook's end. They need to do a better job of what's getting filtered in the algorithm to said kids, not, oh, let's just ban kids.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of things getting banned, what's happening with TikTok? Are they banning them on the 9th, or what's going on with that?
Oh, is that coming up again?
Yeah.
No, it is. Shit. Fucking we know. It probably gets extended out again.
I don't know.
I have not heard anybody actually saying that they're purchasing it or anything. I've heard, rumors of the people in the past, but I haven't heard anything recently.
I mean, China was all about talking to our government and getting it extended and, possibly moving things forward. And then all of a sudden it was like, then Trump started pissing China off. And then he said that there were great talks, and China's like, what great talks? We haven't said a word,
I mean, he lies about every fucking thing he does. So,
but I'm like, okay, but does that mean they're going to not bring this? Because this doesn't really have much to do with the government, I wouldn't think, but.
I mean, so it's only, this is a Texas thing, right? So it's govern over Texas. So if you live in Texas, then it doesn't. So if you move out, then you'd be fine. Like, again, how the fuck do you police this? Do you
or have you heard of this thing called a VPN?
You're right. It's so goddamn idiotic that these people come up with this stuff. Like, how are you gonna just make it so this little area of the country, all of a sudden 18-year-olds are the only ones that can get on it, not kids? Like,
it's things like this that make me wonder if they're just trying to pass bills and do this so that they can look like they're doing something with their job they were elected to.
That and or like that starts here and then the next state picks it up. Next red state picks it up and runs with it and runs with it and then all it's then it becomes a national type thing where you're trying to protect the kids. No, you're not. You're just being dicks. Like
Mhm.
if Facebook put out the rules that they you have to be 13 and even that gets circumvented, right? You got younger kids, I'm sure, on there. So what makes you think that you're going to be able to uphold this at all?
So, Texas, I have 5 words for you.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I was looking for a reason to do that, and I found it. So, but yeah, that was. I read that article, and I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me!" But
This is the world we live in. And then isn't Texas where dumbass now has his company? Elon Musk isn't he down there? So I'm sure he's causing some problems down there too.
apparently he's leaving politics, and apparently he was on fentanyl while he was doing Doge, and he was on other drugs, and apparently he has a black eye now because he told his 5-year-old, who's in the White House all the time at every single press briefing he can be at, he literally told his kid, was trying to teach him to fight, and he said, "Punch me in the eye," and his kid did, and now, now he's got a black eye. And now he's like, "Oh, I guess he's going to be an unofficial advisor to the White House. So he'll still be an advisor, but he's not doing Doge." And I'm like, "Yeah, what happened to that $2 trillion you were going to send to everybody?"
Yeah, but at what cost? What was he gutting? He was gutting our, national parks and Medicaid, all these programs that we had set up to better ourselves just so you can look good and give us some extra money. No.
Mm.
That's always their thing. They're like, "Oh, here, have a little money, you little peons. That'll make you agree to whatever we're doing, right?" So
No, I agree with almost nothing you're doing.
right.
I say almost, but
It's always the bait and switch. Like, "Oh, look over here, look over here." No, we're not destroying the country over here.
yeah, you can tell we are not Republicans on this side. I'm not a Democrat on this side either. I don't like them, but I'm like, at least they're not actively trying to kill people.
Right. Or gut the things that we've had for so long that help society.
Mm. But yeah,
But there
speaking of,
wasn't there another article about you know who?
yeah, since we've brought him up, let's jump to this one. Yeah, Elon Musk, he wants to make games great again. I like that. I like Polygon, make it stop. With AI studios. So yeah, the richest man in the world, and his new BFF of President. This was President-elect Trump. When was this actually written? So this was last year. Yeah, he wants to, but he wants to make an AI studio, basically making video games with nothing but AI. And
you still got to have somebody directing it. The AI doesn't just, nope, there's a game. Like, you have to give it direction.
Well, remember,
I know this is probably because he was going big at, it's talking about his as XAI that he was going big on Twitter to try and do. So yeah, this is about that time. That makes sense. So this is just an old article that's popping up again.
Yeah, but remember, what is that? SAG-AFTRA. They're still on strike against the video game industry because of AI usage. And
Correct.
now, yeah,
and that was what the whole writers' strike was, because they didn't want companies to be able to use AI to write up a script and cut out the middleman or doctor it up from what somebody else did.
Yeah.
So and then that's why that was going so hard, and that they were doing it so big into the game industry also.
So
we have an article about that one too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we had quite a lot of things happen in the last couple of weeks here. But yeah, where else was there? Oh, the biggest story that we had this week. Did you hear about the Black Panther game?
Yes.
I almost feel like we should do controllers up for Black Panther because I was actually looking forward to that one. But yeah, so actually the next two articles kind of go into this. But yeah, EA has actually canceled, not quietly canceled, but loudly canceled the new Black Panther game. And on top of that, they closed Cliffhanger Games. This is the third round of layoffs at EA just this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that industry is taking a lot of They have a lot of layoffs anyways. This is why like they need to start unionizing. I know that a couple of the Blizzard ones, they've unionized. They need more union in there so that they can stop this bullshit. Because yeah, they'll have. And there was a great book that I read that it goes into depth into it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But they put out a game and then they start the layoffs once the game comes out, or they'll have a studio like this where they're like, let's just axe that, so you all these people lose their jobs, and they have to scramble to either stay in the industry and go somewhere else if they're hiring, or you're just out of a job just
right.
like that.
But I love how the email here, it says, because you say that, and it says here, in an email sent to the staff at EA Entertainment, President Laura Milley, I'm not sure how to say that, Miley said that these changes, alongside other recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to, quote, sharpen our focus, put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. Well, how can you have growth opportunities if you're getting rid of the talent?
Right. And look, what is growth opportunities so that you can make another EA game, another sports game, like like those are a dime a dozen, where this was actually going to be like an original IP with something different, and you axe it.
And no, it's actually Activision was the one that decided that they didn't want true crime, but they want to hold on to the IP, and that's why they sold it to another company, and they made what was supposed to be True Crime Hong Kong. They made Sleeping Dogs, and I'm like, you know what? That would have been a great Activision game, and Activision should definitely be making more true crime games instead of just EA Sports in the game,
Right.
It's like, no, don't get me wrong. If you're a sports game fan, power to you, but we want other things.
Does the new sports game have to come out every single year?
No.
Like, it's like a Call of Duty. Like, does it have to come out every single year? No. I mean, I understand rosters change and people move, but that could be a fucking patch. You don't need to resell the whole game. I understand, they do more, they put in more features. Like, I was watching one of the 2K, the basketball game, you can go to the street or whatever, and they're trying to put more story into it, but it's like, come on, it's the same game. You've just reskinned this for years. Same thing with the old Madden. Like, they would come out every single year at August. It was like clockwork.
I hate to say it, but isn't it the same thing with Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat's getting there too, but they at least they'll change up like some of their stories or graphics, or I guess it's not.
They at least give you some new characters with new abilities.
Right, they'll add in like characters that you've never seen before. Like, you can now play as the Terminator or the Predator, or all these wacky characters. You're like, fuck yeah, I've always wanted to do that, and now you can. They'll at least do it that way for the cash grab. But yeah, I mean, but they don't come out as regular as like the EA games. Every single year we get a new basketball game, a new football game, a
new wrestling game.
New wrestling game. You can almost expect that you're going to get a 2K, whatever the fuck year it is.
And a lot of times those could launch broken.
Right. How is it broken? You're basically just taking the same fucking code and changing the characters, in my opinion. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
I've seen some of those wrestling ones where it's just like, why are the ropes going through his guts? And it's like, you couldn't fix that. That's like the main thing,
Right.
But yeah, in addition to closing Cliffhanger and canceling Black Panther, EA is also laying off some individuals on both its mobile and central teams. When asked for the exact number of individuals impacted, EA declined to comment because they're scared. IGN understands the total number of affected individuals is in this wave is less than the roughly 300 roles cut last month across Respawn and EA's fan care teams, but cannot confirm by how much. So again, this is like another one, because don't we have another story here about people getting... I thought we had another one too.
For what? Get people getting laid off?
Yeah, people getting laid. Is what it sounded like you said.
No.
Yeah, people
Laid
getting
off.
laid off. People should
No.
be getting laid.
I mean, yes.
I mean, what kind of podcast do we really want this to be?
No.
This is Cyclops After Dark.
Oh boy. That's its whole other thing.
Yeah, but on top of that, not only did they cancel that game, but they are actually in charge of 3 other Marvel projects that, as of right now, are safe. But let's see how long that lasts.
Right.
Oh wait, I just pulled that back up. Yeah, EA is still making at least 3 other Marvel games, even after Black Panther cancellation. Because remember, it is EA that is behind the Iron Man open world game that has been announced, and I don't think they've even put out a screenshot for it. But rumor is they're gonna put out a trailer at the Summer Games Fest.
Oh, maybe because it's Black Panther and he's not as wide of a character. Like not a lot of people know him. I mean, obviously you do if you've watched the movies, but he was not like, one of the A tier Avengers like Iron Man or Captain America,
Hulk.
Right.
Yeah.
Like your mainstays that everybody knows. I mean, I've always felt that too with Black Panther. Like I've never been like, oh yeah, I definitely know who that is. Until when they brought him in on one of the Avengers movies, I had no clue who that was.
I had heard the name before, and not just the Black Panther group that was from the 60s, from segregation times. I had heard the name before, but I didn't know much about the character other than he was from Africa and very high tech.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so that sounds cool. What else you got? But I mean, but think about it though, because when these movies first started going in, Iron Man wasn't a really well-known character. He was known mostly because Ozzy talked about him in I Am Iron Man, that was the most anybody really knew about Iron Man. And Captain America was one that people knew the name of, but a lot of people were just like, oh, isn't that Marvel's version of Superman? No,
Right.
So, I mean, you really just got to give him a chance. And Black Panther's been around long enough, I think, and he was a significant part of the MCU for long enough that I think that game would have sold really well. But you know what? Their loss is going to be Amy Hennig's game, because we still have Marvel 1943 coming up, Rise of Hydra.
Yeah, I mean, other than the delay.
Yeah, but a delayed game is eventually good. A rushed game is forever bad. That's what Miyamoto says.
Right.
I don't mind a delay like that, especially. But now the problem with this is, what other games are going to get pushed to 2026, and 2026 is already like busting at the seams with games.
Yeah.
Which last year it seemed like we almost got no games. Now it's like 26 is going to be like, you want games here?
Right.
My wallet's going to hurt. But I got Game Pass. So, but yep. So we do. I guess there's an unannounced Marvel game. There's Iron Man. I think there's one more. Yeah, Skydance Marvel.
The Wolverine.
We still got the Wolverine. Wolverine's going to be coming out. EA has
Blade.
Oh, Blade. Yes.
I didn't know there was a Blade game.
Blade is being made by, it's not Arcane Studios, but it's by Bethesda.
Oh.
and they're actually doing it third person, which Bethesda doesn't do a lot of third person,
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm excited about that. So it's not like we don't have games to play, but this still sucks.
Right. I mean, the more thing that makes me mad is the layoffs. Like, you just cut, and then like, oh, why are these games coming out bad? Well, because you're cutting so goddamn much just to save your bottom line or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. I'm looking to see. I could have sworn we had. Okay, hold on. Maybe we got that one. But yeah, it just seems like they're cutting everything. And it's like everyone's like, oh, the gaming industry is dying. It's like, well, why do you think that is?
Right.
You gotta not cut.
Well, didn't you have one about the union finally coming to?
Yeah, I'm trying to find where that one went.
Okay.
I put up a whole lot of things all at the same time, so I'll just go back in and get it.
Nothing to see here, folks.
You know what? We can edit this down for the podcast, and then it'll be smoother.
Edit.
We can AI edit.
Oh yeah, I don't think we mentioned that. Yes, now that we're an hour and 40 minutes into this, we are on Spotify. Also, if you would like to listen to us instead of watch us, I know you don't want to see these ugly mugs, so you can listen.
Speak
to
for
us
yourself.
now. Well, you and your mug can go look at each other or something.
What, people don't like my face? My happy one.
I don't think they come here for the face. I think they come here for the comedy. At least I hope so.
What comedy? No. Okay, I found it.
The comedy and the articles, the news, and yeah, how we can go from Viagra to whatever else we did last time.
Oh my god, that's why people love this show. It's like love or hate it,
Right, as long as you watch us.
But yeah, here it was. Microsoft and video game workers union reached tentative agreement on a labor contract. The union of QA testers at Microsoft subsidiary ZeniMax will receive pay increases, more work protections if the contract is fully adapted.
Okay.
Or adopted, I'm sorry. But yeah, because there's been a big thing about the QA testers. The QA testers, in my opinion, are one of the most important parts of video game development.
Yeah, definitely.
While they might not,
where your bugs come from. If you don't have people doing that and don't have them, putting out detailed things, then that's where they slip through, right?
Yeah, I know. What is that? Sony Santa Monica Studios, which does the God of War games. I know that they bring in QA testers, and they do them for different versions of them. And they said they bring them in all the time to make sure that the level is complete. What they'll do is they'll say, "Hey, this works. This doesn't work." They'll actually say what they like about the game, what they don't like about the game, and then they'll say, "Hey, I found this bug, this bug, this bug." Where it seems like EA and Activision, they just pretty much throw them in there, and if you don't find a bug, you're fired. It's like, right. Or if you find bugs, if you don't find enough bugs, you're fired. Or, if you're playing it and they think that you're just playing it for fun and not looking for their stuff, I'm like, I should be having fun with this. That's what QA is about. Is this game fun? But yeah. So the QA Testers Union represents about 300 employees and has been fighting for several years for this contract. In response to the agreement, Jesse Lintz, a QA tester and union representative for ZeniMax, stated, "Video games have been the revenue titan of the entire entertainment industry for years," which honestly is not that far off. And the workers who develop these games are too often exploited for their passion and creativity. Organizing unions, bargaining for a contract, and speaking with one collective voice has allowed workers to take back the autonomy we all deserve.
Right, and then it also says there that QA testers have been a hotspot for unionization efforts in the games industry, some of which have been targeted with union busting efforts, which they always do when people try and unionize, is they bring in the union busters to say how bad it's going to be to be a union. If you have to come in and tell them that it's going to be so bad and cost them, then obviously it's a good thing for you and a bad thing for the company, because the company doesn't want to lose all that control. That's basically what it comes down to.
If your company tries to bust up your union, that's a good sign you're on the right path.
Right. Yes. If they're going to pay somebody millions of dollars to come in there and tell you why you don't need a union, then there's something wrong. Like, they could be using that money in better ways, but instead they want to not give you guys what you want and your control and what you deserve.
Mm-hmm. So, moral of the story, if your company wants to unionize, sign up for it.
Yeah, definitely sign your cards and listen to what the union organizers are saying, because they know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. So, but another thing that's going to be happening just this week, I'm actually really excited about this. We are going to get the Nintendo Switch 2. And as a result of, why was this not pulling up? Because reasons,
because something's got to go wrong every time.
But yep, the Nintendo Switch phone app just got a lot better. So you can finally, you can upload your screenshots and videos to the cloud and download them directly to your phone. So kind of like you could do for Microsoft and Sony for a long time.
Right.
But yep, it's saying here the Nintendo Switch 2 launches exactly in 1 week, and in the lead up to the new console, Nintendo has updated the Nintendo Switch Online app and made it much more useful, because it wasn't useful before. It also has a new pithier name. Say goodbye to Nintendo Switch Online app and say hello to Nintendo Switch app.
Okay.
NSA.
So you just took out the O. All right.
And yep, they quietly put out this update. What was this? Just a couple of days ago. So if you haven't seen it already, definitely fire up that app and give it a shot. And here's your patch.
I don't think I use the Nintendo app as much as I will use this like PlayStation's app, because I don't remember if you can even search for games on Nintendo's app. I was like, this is kind of a boring app or whatever. So maybe now this will change that.
Yep, they go through the notes here. The app name change, obviously. Nintendo Switch 2 consoles are now supported, which no, that's a no-brainer. Screenshot and videos saved to your console's album, and now you can upload them to the app. You can now receive game chat invitations. More friend features are now available in the app.
There we go.
Yeah, you can now add friends via the app. Via or via? I don't know how people want to say that, but whatever. Yeah.
Tomato.
What's a tomato? You can choose to receive a notification in the app when a friend comes online.
Okay. It still sounds very bare bones
compared to what we've had before. Yeah.
Right. Like I said, the Nintendo app has not been thrilling ever, really. So I'll take the improvements, and maybe we can get a little bit better.
Yeah.
Didn't you also have another article about the Switch too?
Yes, this is one that I know you and I were talking about here, and it sounds like this might be the way that you get one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bring it up. But yep, I got it up here. Target.com, because they're always right. Target.com to offer more Switch 2 units starting June 6th. Special in-store events announced. Say initial pre-orders sold out in under 2 hours.
So yeah, it's amazing that they got the pre-orders and they're still going to be able to sell some like afterwards.
So I think the ones that they got for the date are just the pre-order, so most people aren't going to be able to walk into the stores, but it's looking like June 6th you'll be able to walk into the stores and get them.
I mean, that's literally the next day of the pre-order. So they must have quite a bit of out there. They just didn't put them all to just the online stuff, which is good because this is so I already I already called off for the 5th. I already asked for a vacation that day. So my plan is and it might change because of Target. I was planning to go to the midnight release that Best Buy's doing and see if I can grab one there, that since I didn't pre-order it and couldn't pre-order it. And if I can't pre-order it or can't pick it up there on the midnight release, I was going to go to Costco when they open and see if I can get a bundle from them.
It's just weird because it's like, how are you going to release it one day and then say, oh, we'll have more the next day? Are you getting a whole truckload of them?
So yeah, they must have quite a bit of them, and they must not have put them all up for release so that some stores can, physically have them in stock. I don't know. And then I've also heard that some of Walmart's pre-orders are being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
They're canceling some of their pre-orders. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge like how many you have allocated for your online, how many you have for in-store, but they want to have some to be able to pick up.
Yeah. Or it's just Target's way of saying,
we are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
That's what I was saying. How long are we going on for that? Because it's a long clip.
What is that clip? That's like a 36-second clip.
Yeah, that's a super long clip we got for that one.
I want to try and cut it down, but it's like, but which ones aren't funny? They're all funny.
But yeah, I mean, Target's could be another way to try and get one, either in person or they're also doing it online. You can order it online, and it's one per customer.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, I like that there's going to be options. Like, I'm not just SOL because I wasn't able to secure one when they first went live. It was at a weird fucking time. It went live at midnight on a day, and I'm like, wait, what? Why at midnight? That like,
and midnight whose time?
Yeah. Right? Like it was poorly done, as they always are. But
it's like what people say for the Gremlins when they say don't feed them after midnight, and I'm like, midnight? What time? Like what time zone?
Right.
I love how in Gremlins 2 they actually spoof that. They're like, what if they're on a plane? Then it turns midnight.
They started talking about it. Yeah.
You ever notice in Gremlins 1 they say don't get the gremlins wet, but yet they can walk around in the snow?
I didn't even think about that.
It's like, remember, they like swim around in the snow, and I'm like, but that's just frozen water. Why are they not mutating?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that till you said that. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's and now you're thinking about it, right?
Right. I guess it doesn't work if it's a frozen water. It has to be the liquid form that does something in there. I mean, we don't know what actually happens. So,
but then what? When the water melts, then they start mutating.
You've put a lot of thought into this. Apparently, we need to make a whole segment on this.
We should do like movie plot holes.
I mean, there's so many plot holes in most of the movies that we love.
I don't know why my screen's doing that all of a sudden. Because reasons.
Yeah.
But yep. So, and anybody that may be watching here, tell me, how does that make sense? How can the gremlins jump into a pool of water, or even just get like a little drop? Remember the scientist put a little drop and he popped out one gremlin out of his back. How does that make them mutate? But you see them actually like caroling in the snow, walking around. You even see them at one point dive into the snow and like kind of run off. And it's like, Then again, I'm trying to incorporate real world. You got to check your brain at the door sometimes.
Yep. Well, especially when it comes to movies and plot holes, because they don't always think all of them through.
It's like it's a rule until it kind of
Right.
screws up what we're trying to do here.
Right.
All
So
right,
it
yeah.
doesn't further the story, then
I have we do have another one here. So this was kind of one I'm thinking, is this the end of an era for Xbox, like CBR was talking about here? Xbox, basically this thing is saying that Xbox is getting rid of exclusivity. So there's no more exclusive Halo on Xbox. There's no more exclusive Gears of War on Xbox. They're getting rid of exclusivity, but they're still saying they're going to stay in the console game. And I'm like, isn't the whole point of a console to buy the games that you can't get on any other console?
right. But I mean,
Yeah, and people are saying right here, the end of Xbox exclusivity may kill the console. How long until Halo is on the Switch?
yeah, but Nintendo and Xbox have been like kind of hand in hand porting to each other and helping each other out. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going the way of Sega. I mean, I had a feeling they were going to go that way anyways, where they just make games and get out of the console business because it just costs so much for them. And the exclusives, and then buying up all these studios that they've bought up recently, they got to start putting in something, and that doesn't help with when you come out with a new console.
So do you think they maybe just bought those studios so that anytime they sell a game to PlayStation, they get a cut of it?
Probably.
Because, yeah, it's saying here, one of the biggest shocks of the current gaming generation is Microsoft's decision to start putting prized first-party games on its competitor systems. There have been plenty of times when Xbox Game Studios titles have received multi-platform launches, like Doom: The Dark Ages, usually for franchises that belong to groups that were acquired. Sorry about that. That was my phone.
I thought it was an echo or something coming off of what you were saying.
No, because I still have the regular microphone. So of course, when my phone is sitting off to the side here, it's on vibrate. I forgot to put it on silent.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Doom: The Dark Ages, usually for franchises that belong to groups that were acquired by Microsoft, like Bethesda. However, Microsoft is now offering its prized first-party exclusives on PlayStation and Nintendo systems. The most recent example of this is Gears of War Reloaded, which is now coming to PlayStation 5. This is one of the premier Xbox franchises, and it's now going to be available on other platforms, which doesn't make sense to me that they would have done that for Gears of War. But I mean, you play what, PC and PlayStation, so now you're going to get to see what I've been raving about for all these years.
Right. I've never played that game because it was on Xbox, and I was always kind of against them. And then I just didn't like their console and their controller. When it first came out, was fucking huge. So I never went with Xbox.
Yeah, I remember. So they look like this now, and this is a little easier to hold. If you compare this to the PlayStation controller, it's about the same.
Right, but I still don't like where the control sticks are. I hate the way the thumb pad is down instead of, a normal PlayStation where you've got your thumbsticks right here. I don't want my thumbstick right here.
Yeah, because this is the one that moves the character, and this is usually the one that controls the camera.
So I hate that. I like them both in the middle because it feels more comfortable on my hands.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that, because it is kind of weird to hold it like that. I don't know if you can see that very well, but
yeah. But I mean, that's just my personal opinion. And the whole, I was always a PlayStation fanboy over Xbox, so I just never got one.
Fair enough. Yeah, I remember when the first Xbox came out, I was like, what, I gotta hold the whole thing in my hand? This is like...
Well, yeah, when they first came out, that controller was fucking huge. I don't know who they made that controller for.
They made it for Godzilla.
Yeah, they did not do enough testing, or King Kong or somebody. That was not made for normal people.
They had The Rock promoting it with Bill Gates, and it's like, okay, but yeah, maybe The Rock's hands are huge.
Yeah, maybe that's why. We got a couple comments here. But you don't buy games anymore, which is true. they always say they can pull the license from them at any time.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing. Ubisoft is like players need to get used to not owning their games, and I'm like, shut up. If I pay the money for it, I
right.
should
If I'm
own the
paying the
game.
money, I own that game. And he also says, "Oh, RRP, Xbox Live Gold, and online paid, and or whatever. As now, it's just Game Pass." Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, not you. Even Adam, like in our Cyclops when we were talking here, you brought up Game Pass. I'll just play it on that. Like,
Mm.
so I mean, that's how they're making their money now, is by putting games through that instead
Mhm.
of like putting them out. And you also
Yep.
got PS5, 4, and 3 controllers now work on PC. Yes,
Mhm.
which I love. I have like the newer Diablo that came out. I was playing it on PC with my PlayStation controller on my laptop before I had this rig, and that's how I played it because it was way better to control everything.
I gotta say, I know Junior personally here. Hi, Junior. um, but yeah, and then kind of furthering the whole. Are they going to go the way of Sega? Remember when they announced when Microsoft announced that they were going to get into the handheld gaming market? Well, now it's saying here that they're pulling back development on their own Xbox handheld to focus on third-party devices. And if you want, I mean, couple that with the story we just were talking about, that really makes me think they're not wanting to put a lot of effort into these consoles anymore.
Well, I mean, all consoles, they lose out money. Like, they do not make money on consoles. It's always been a thing in the industry. You don't make money on the consoles, you make money on the software that you put out. So they're just trying to finally cut down on that. Like, if like the handheld one, so now you're going to go against Nintendo on handhelds, and you already know you've lost on that. Nintendo has that down, or you're that, or a Steam Deck. Like, those are your two main handheld systems. Like, you're not going to break into that and go, yeah, we won. Like, no.
Yeah. I think it would be best if Microsoft made games for the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is pretty good.
Right.
I
mean, you kind of do. If you can play them on PC, you can usually play them on the Steam Deck. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to dethrone Nintendo on the handheld part of this, and they kind of work with Nintendo as it is. Like I said, they've got they've gone games both back and forth, and then like cut out PlayStation. I think they're finally seeing that you're losing some of your revenue on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's when they bought Bethesda. A lot of people were like, what about all these games that have been on PlayStation for years? And I was like, you know what would have made sense is not taking them off of PlayStation altogether, but giving it a year on Xbox only.
Mm-hmm.
A timed exclusivity. But they don't even seem to want to do that. And I'm like, but then again, I'm not a business person. So so I don't know, where I say, oh yeah, you and I probably go, oh, this makes a lot of money in the short run. They're also trying to look at long run.
They are. And then Junior did come back here with you. Ubisoft, Nintendo, and Steam all have said you don't own anything you buy from them. Nintendo has gone so far as saying you don't even own the Nintendo Switch system. Which, yeah, they said that they would brick it at any time if you tried to pirate stuff and whatnot. Which I know people did get early copies of the Switch too. Or somehow they got it and they tried to get it, play, but it's even day one. There's a download you have to put in. You can't even play it right now until day one. So they've gone that far as to not even let people look at UI or any of that kind of stuff.
And I don't know, I agree with that, and I don't. It's one of those where it's like, I went out of my way to get this. I can see the ones that people have illegally. But it's like, if I'm on there and it's my console, I spent the $500 to get it, I should be able to download whatever TF I want on there. It's my console. Don't brick it because you see that I've downloaded something you didn't agree with.
Right. And yeah, as long as I'm not going online and trying to like compete and like cheat or whatever the case may be, what does it matter what I'm doing with my system?
So does this mean, because a lot of people use this as their connection to the internet, does that mean if somebody uses their Switch to look at P-Hub? Right. You know what I'm saying with P-Hub? I'm trying to not get us.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, P-Hub or X videos, or something like that. If I use that, is Nintendo going to go like, oh, they're looking at something we don't agree with because we're a family-friendly console? Let's brick their system. It's like, I'm a 40-year-old guy. I don't have any kids.
Right. I'm an adult. I'm allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Jay, he also says, and PlayStation has joined that. I don't know when he was talking about with that, with the exclusivity.
Yeah, saying that you don't own your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I mean, when you used to buy physical media, that was yours. Like, you could do with it what you want. If I wanted to give it to Cyclops so he could play the game and not have to pay for it, that was my right. But we're now in the digital age where they say that they can pull it at any time. That's not right. It's the same fucking thing. I'm paying the same price for the same product.
Remember
I have the right.
Remember at E3 where Sony really ripped on Xbox for that because of the Xbox One? And they did that whole video. They're like, here's how you share games with your friends on PlayStation. Hey, can I borrow that? Sure. Thanks. And it was like, that was such a slap in the face. And now it seems like like Sony's doing the exact same thing that they were ripping on.
Yeah, they've all jumped on the bandwagon so they can either get more money or like if they just decide to get rid of it, then that's it.
Yeah, and Junior, I'm really glad that you brought up Sony with that, because right here, Xbox Game Pass has been deemed unhealthy compared to PlayStation Plus, but this was being said by an ex-Sony boss.
So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, the ex-Sony boss suggested that Xbox Game Pass is unhealthy compared to Sony's PlayStation Plus in 2025, and honestly, it feels like a bit of a stretch. It's like, okay, when even like true achievements and everyone's going like, no, it's not. It might not be what you would have done.
Yeah, how do you not say it's healthy? Like even like the PlayStation's like free games, I haven't like they've been pretty crappy for quite a long time.
Yeah, Shushi, I'm not sure how to say his name, but it's Yoshida speaking with Gamescom Latham to game developer, ex-PlayStation CEO, and proponent of indie game developers, Sushi, I'm not sure. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. Had some choice thoughts about the state of Sony's PlayStation Plus and Microsoft's Game Pass subscription services, saying, taking aim at Microsoft in particular, Yoshida addressed concerns he had about the impact of these services, saying if the only way for people to play games is through subscriptions, that's really dangerous because what type of games can be created? What type of games can be created will be directed by the owner of the subscription service.
Oh, that's what he's going by that. Okay.
Yeah, I see where he's going with this, but it's like it's not about being healthy.
You have all these games now that come out with their, battle pass or whatever. Like even I think the new Doom has one too. Like you're just milking it to milk it, and like not every game needs a battle pass, or
right.
You're not going to update it as much as you say you are, and it's eventually going to fall to the wayside. Like even that new the what was it, Multiverse or whatever, the Warner Brothers game that just got shut down.
Yeah, DC Multiverse.
Yep, that just got shut down. It was only active for like 5 seasons and now it's gone. You can still play it offline, which is great. I'm glad they still make it so you can still play it and it's not just gone forever, but same thing. Like you can only sustain some of that stuff for so long and people get bored. Like you have to have in-game or something to do. It's not just grind and we're going to stick around that whole time.
Right. Yeah, I can see where he's going with that, but at the same time, I mean, those games that you mentioned though are highly successful AAA franchises with millions of dollars behind them. I'm thinking what he's trying to say is like, you know, the indie game that wants to tell a story that maybe hasn't been told before is now going to be, you know, guided by Xbox, guided by PlayStation, guided by Nintendo if they try to put it on their system.
Either that, or you're saying like they'll lose out on the sales, and because I guess they still got to get paid through the pass, right, to put it on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's unhealthy though. I honestly think Game Pass is really a great way to open it up where people can play more games because I
wouldn't
can't
normally like get, right.
Yeah, because I can't afford $80 a game, $70 a game all the time. I know there's a lot of people like that. Some people love the whole yearly Call of Duty because that's the only game they can play every year. So I get that, but honestly, I don't agree with him in the way of he's saying that it's unhealthy, but there really needs to be more things in the clauses, I think, or in the paperwork saying that Microsoft is going to put this game out, but they're not going to tell you what you can and can't do, and they need to split the revenue like fairly.
Right.
Then again, we need to get a business professional on here because I'm not.
Right.
So.
Right. Junior came back and said, GOG says you own the games you buy from them. So that's at least good. And at least one of them was kind of fighting back. And then he also comes back and says, I can't afford $20 games. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Like, yeah, but all the AAA games, they always put out like, kind of the base game, and then they add in special features to try and make you, put out more money. And Battle Pass is usually in one of those, the higher tiers. So
that's what got people upset with Assassin's Creed before Assassin's Creed Shadows came out. It wasn't just the whole, the woke thing like people were whining about, but it was more about how they put out the base game, and then it was like so much more for like some of these other things that you could go, and then they were trying to put in battle passes, and they were trying to charge you every step of the way.
Oh yeah.
And once they decided not to do that, then people backed off a little bit. But and now look, it's like the second most successful Assassin's Creed game in the franchise. So it's like, listen to your people.
Fun game. I've been playing it.
That I can't believe
off my schedule.
I can't believe we have so many samurai games coming out in 1 year. We have that. Right. We have Ghosts of Yotai.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, I'm kind of afraid to admit this, but I will admit I wasn't a massive fan of Ghost of Tsushima, and that's only because when I tried to play it, I couldn't get into it. Oh. But maybe I didn't give it enough time.
Right. Yeah, usually that lore, Japanese, Chinese lore in games or stories, I've never been a huge fan of. But I did play the Ghost one, and the gameplay is what sold me on that one. It was so fluid and awesome. Like you just wanted to keep playing it.
Mm-hmm. Evan Jr. came back here. Let's see. Up. I can get it.
I was like, I'm not touching it because you're saying it. So
okay. He says, games that come out at 80% complete, but with only 10% of the real game. The rest is DLC and battle passes. Yeah, like right. Isn't that kind of what Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was? Yeah. It was like they gave you a standard single player game, and then they're like, oh, by the way, if you want the rest of the story, buy battle pass and play with people. And it's like, I don't have the time, the money to keep buying these things.
He says also bring back Medal of Honor. Yep, those are really good games.
Those are games Steven Spielberg. Yeah, Steven Spielberg was involved in those.
Yeah, I mean, but there's only so much story, again, that you can put out through that. Then it just gets repetitive. Then you become like EA with the sports games, right?
Yeah.
They put out a bunch of those Medal of Honor games, and most of them were pretty good, but there's only so much story you could do. I mean, you could bring it back for, a remaster now, because those, like, I remember playing those on the PS2, and even then they were like, oh, these are awesome, but like bring it back for today's standards. And they've been out of the limelight enough that you could bring them back and tell the same kind of story.
Mm. Same kind of story, or at least mix it up a little bit, and there's more stories that come out of World War II every year, it seems
Right.
like.
And then especially with those ones, I think too, like because we're getting into the age where like a lot of those people are starting to die, we're losing those stories. So to
Mm.
keep them in the zeitgeist and people still remembering them now that we're so far away from them, I mean that's kind of the only way is to keep them into some form of entertainment.
Mm-hmm. And I know we've been going for almost 2.5 hours here, but we still got just a few more stories. This is what happens when like a lot of stuff happens on a week when
Right.
we can't get on here.
Well, we've also been down. This is 2 weeks kind of combined together.
Mhm. And it's just the two of us. We don't have Koimiya with us.
Oh, shucks.
Mister, I got other obligations.
Sister, I have to have a vacation.
He deserves it, but damn it, so do we. All right, so yeah, PlayStation games may be coming to Xbox with a catch. So this isn't just PlayStation throwing their games on Xbox. Basically, it's the games that PlayStation does that they put out on PC. You will be able to play them through your Xbox if your Xbox is connected to a Steam account.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah. So Xbox is
specific, isn't it?
Yeah, so Xbox is breaking down barriers by selling Xbox exclusives on PlayStation, like we talked about before. Yep, and I recently confirmed, so it looks like PlayStation is kind of returning the favor. See, the next Xbox could feature PlayStation games via Steam. So the new report, again, this isn't 100%, but the new report from Windows Central reveals that the decision making for the next Xbox, there was a pitch to ditch backwards compatibility for the next Xbox in favor of leaning into Windows 11 compatibility. Thankfully, it seems that like the pitch was rejected and won't be part of the console's future, but Xbox is expanding in other ways. They're reportedly talking to PC storefronts like Valve to bring platforms. To bring a platform like Steam to Xbox. There's some debate over how this could actually benefit Xbox, as it would mean that Xbox is giving people another place, to buy their games. However, one key thing here is that it could be a clever workaround to bring PlayStation games to Xbox.
Interesting. I mean, I could see that being able to play some Steam games on there, but yeah, don't give it fucking Windows 11 compatibility. Like we already have that enough pushed down our throats. We don't need it in our consoles.
Yeah, Windows 11, it screws so much stuff up. It seems like Microsoft, when they put out a new Windows, it seems like 10 was good, 11 sucks, and 12 will probably be great.
Yeah, it usually skips every other. Like 98 was good, ME sucked, and then the next one was good. Like it's usually every other that they fuck things up, and they're like, well, okay, let's go back to normal. Like I had 7 on my old system for the longest time, even after it was not being supported, and then I just recently had to put it to at least 10 because I like 10. And then like this new system I'm on now, I'm on 11, but my buddy found a thing that where it strips out a lot of that bloatware and other bullshit out of it. So I'm like, okay, we can do that. So I don't like their whole system where fucking Edge, you can never get rid of it. Like, no, you're a shitty fucking web browser. Get the fuck out of here. I use Chrome. I use Firefox. That's all that you do, Edge, is you download those.
Would you kindly GTFO?
Right. And yeah, they have it so locked into the system that you can't fucking just delete it like you should be able to. So you have to get these other apps where it changes it.
So yeah, final thoughts on that. Do you want that to happen? Do you don't want that to happen?
I mean, it's good. Like either way, like PlayStation going to Xbox, Xbox going to PlayStation. the winners are the gamers, right? They get to play what they hadn't played. Like I get to play Gears of War. Never touched that game now, so now it's a reason for me to pick it up and give it a try. So I think the gamers are the ones that win in that.
I just wanted you to see that they're Tiny 10 or Tiny 11.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, we just got 2 more stories here. Let me, if it'll pull back up here. All right, yeah. So Ubisoft is, because we do have Summer Games Fest coming up next month, which is always exciting. It's basically become the new E3. But yeah, Ubisoft is teasing a big Splinter Cell announcement ahead of Summer Games Fest. Could a remake of the classic adventure be closer than we think? Now, do you think they should do a remake, a remaster, or do you think they should just like maybe do a new game that's continuing the same game, the same story? Now, again, this isn't official yet, so
right. I think it has to be a remaster because that game's been out of the limelight for so goddamn long. I mean, I remember playing them, back in the day, but it's been so long, I don't remember the goddamn story. So they need to re-release them so that people can get into it, and then if they like it, give us a new game in the franchise.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like Jak and Daxter coming back, even from Naughty Dog Studios. It'd be like, give me a reboot or a remaster of that because I don't remember a whole lot of it.
Right.
I'd love for them to bring that back. I'm really looking forward to Intergalactic, but I would like to see them working on Jak and Daxter instead of another remaster of The Last of Us.
Right.
Come on, we've remastered that enough, But yeah, after letting slip that the company is working on a new Rayman title, Ubisoft is now teasing something Splinter Cell related. Just days before Summer Games Fest kicks off, the company uploaded a cryptic post on X, formerly Twitter, because, Musk, on Friday with the image of what appears to be Sam Fisher, the beloved main character from the stealth action adventure franchise, using eye and mouth emojis. The social account typed Splinter Cell with no further context.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that looks like an updated version of the character. So you're definitely cooking up something here.
Right. I mean, they're doing their job. They're getting our interest peaked on maybe another Splinter Cell.
I'll play it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember playing those. It was kind of like, a Metal Gear Solid.
I'll play it on Game Pass. Actually, I'll probably get that one on PlayStation because I have played all the other Splinter Cell games on PlayStation. And
so Junior came back here and said, I think what Xbox is saying is PlayStation is moving things to Steam now, and if Xbox adds Steam, then it's a loophole for them to play on Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking too. It's basically saying like, well, PlayStation, if you won't play with us, we're going to go to the teacher,
So, but yeah, I mean, a new Splinter Cell, that'd be kind of fun. And then especially in the updated graphics, because didn't those came out on original PlayStation, didn't they?
PlayStation 2, and I want to say it wasn't PlayStation Vita, but it was PlayStation Portable.
See, I think I'm getting them confused with Cypher Filter, which is kind of that same like espionage, sneaking around game.
Yeah.
Those came out on the original PlayStation. I had those. So, but I did play Splinter Cell too. And it's very much like a Hitman type game.
Mm-hmm. They're a lot of fun, especially if you like stealth adventure games. They're a lot of fun. I know that you're a fan of Assassin's Creed, or at least of Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, I mean, imagine the whole game being where it's, you got to stay hidden, taking out your targets like that. Assassin's Creed has it where you have to stay hidden sometimes. Splinter Cell has it where you pretty much have to stay out of the limelight all the time.
All the time. Right.
And sadly, we got just one more story here. You know, it seems like we spent the first hour of this like talking about people dying.
We did. That and like going off on other tangents, so like about streaming, like streaming how-tos, how we got started, the things not to do, and that. So
should we do the structure of the show where it's just all about like streaming and then bring streamers on and diversity and bring maybe we should like get rid of the whole headline thing and get more people on.
I mean, yeah, I know he's not here today, but Looker usually joins us, and he did say he wants to do a collab with us, either him and Dinge coming back on here, us going on their show, and or all of us getting together on a show of a different show and just seeing what happens. So
yep. We can do a Canada versus America thing and be like, "You're our 51st state now, bitch."
Yeah, they probably don't like that.
I've actually joked with Looker about that. He's actually said, like, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but no.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, we definitely, I know he when I was watching his stream last night, he said he wanted to do that stuff. So we'll have to make that happen at some point in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I was on his show. They have the DNL podcast, and I was on their show one time, and that was a blast. We had him. It was supposed to be him and Dingy, but Dingy's aunt passed away, so they couldn't make it here. He couldn't make it here, but we did have Looker, and I've been telling him like we need to get you back on.
Blast with him on there.
Mm-hmm. I've got so many.
Yeah, that's where me and him, got introduced, and he helped me with getting to affiliate on Twitch. Like he gave me some pointers, and they would hop in my stream, so I had the viewers and just chill. So I much appreciate those two guys for all the help they've done.
Now we just need to get us all up to partner, which is 75 views consecutive.
How do you go from 3 viewers to fucking 75? Like that's a huge fucking jump. You have to have tons of followers and people watching for that. Like that is ridiculous.
I have asked some of my friends that actually make a living doing streaming, and I'm like, how did you do that? And every single one of them gives me like conflicting advice. And they're like, oh, well, I stream all the time, and I make sure that I advertise here. And I'm like, well, that's exhausting. I can see
that the advertising helps, because when I started putting it into different Discords and stuff, I've noticed my numbers have gone up. So yes, advertising is a big part of it, but that's just a huge jump. Like, how do you go from 3 to 75? Like a good number should be like 30, 40, something like that. But 75 average viewers. It's not even like you need 75 viewers per stream. It's an average, so it's even worse. So yeah, if you have one stream that has 50, that just drags your thing down. Like, I don't know if I'll ever what are the perks, I guess, of the partner part of it? What is it? It gives you more.
You get a bigger split. You get your stuff pushed out more, so you get more of a chance of being like recommended by Twitch to other people. And if you're on the partner program and if you're looking for sponsors, they're more likely to take you serious if you're partnered. So like where we could probably get a sponsor, we could probably get sponsors with like, those grip companies that have the grips for the controllers and stuff. And maybe like, some startup companies that might want to join in. We could get that kind of stuff, but you're more likely to get partnered by like Asetek or, Logitech or Sony themselves. If you get at least 75. Because then those bigger companies like Mountain Dew and all them, they're not going to look at you and I and go like, oh yeah, they can definitely go. They have an average of 3 people.
Right.
But they will look at somebody like, and I don't like this guy, but will look at somebody like Dr. Disrespect, and they'll go like, even though he's controversial, he's got an average of, 500 viewers, 75 viewers, whatever.
My one, I always put up against, because I see what their numbers are in Twitch, is Asmongold. Asmongold usually has like 30 to 45,000 people watching him, at any given time on Twitch, and then you go to his YouTube videos, and he gets up to like 1 million views on most of his videos, or close to it. Like, he's the one that I'm always kind of comparing, like, what the top rank is
Mm.
that I'm, maybe striving for. I don't even know like how far I want to go with it too. But the way I treat it though is as a second job. I try and tell my wife that I'm like, think of me as I'm going to my second job to try and make another income.
Mhm.
That's how I've been treating it.
Before you jumped on here, I actually told Koimiya, I said, you know what I want to do? I want to be successful enough that I can make this be my main income. And I want to be famous enough, not necessarily Asmongold famous, but I want to be at least famous enough to get interviewed by Howard Stern at least once.
Okay.
So it's where he knows my name. He maybe doesn't know what I do, but and says, "Hey, can you come onto the show just this one time?"
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? If I can get famous enough to be interviewed by Howard Stern at least one time on his main show, not just seeing him somewhere and him grabbing a mic and go, "Here, I interviewed you," but like actually invited onto his show,
right?
I'll be happy.
I mean, yeah.
I don't need him. I don't need to be PewDiePie famous. I don't need, like
or
5
Mr. Beast or
yeah. I don't need, 5 houses, 16 cars. It's like I need just 2 cars, 1 house, maybe 2
bills.
Maybe 2 houses if I want to be a snowbird,
Right.
But that's if I want to get greedy. But anyway, wait, how do we
Hang on.
I know.
Wait. You got a couple of comments here. Junior came back here. Kind of to go back to the Medal of Honor thing, there are so many good old titles that are old and good to us, but the 20 or younger groups have never heard of, that never need to be remastered to a new age. That need to be remastered for a new age. My part. Yeah, for sure. There's lots of good games. Like I remember the Breath of Fire games on the Super Nintendo and PlayStation. Those were fantastic role-playing games that we haven't had in a long time. There's tons of series IPs that are out there that you could remaster for these kids, and they kind of have. Nintendo has kind of done it. Like they've been remastering some of the old Super Nintendo games, like they did Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. They remastered that and put it on the Switch, and that was like an instant hit because everybody wanted that, right?
Mm-hmm. Remember that? I think they actually did a surprise remaster of Snake, Rattle, and Roll, and that was like from the original Nintendo. That's a game I grew up with. It's basically just you just act as it's almost like Q*bert, but it's with snakes.
Yep.
That game was so fun. I remember the theme song for it. I said, "Snake, rattle, and roll." I said, "Snake, rattle, and roll."
That one really got into your head, huh?
It was a game that I played with so many of the neighborhood kids that were living around our house at the time. It was that, and then of course, we played Mario, and I remember we had one kid that was really into The Legend of Zelda, but of course, the rest of us were more into Mario than Zelda. And of course, when we didn't want to play Zelda, he, like kids do sometimes they cry. He would pretend, he would like start crying that we didn't want to play Zelda. And then he would say, we don't like him. It's like, no, we like you. We just don't want to play the game.
Yeah, kids are funny that way. And then the last comment here is bring GunCon games to VR. I don't know what those are.
What's a Gun Con game? I remember the game Gun, which was from the PS2 era, which was about the same time as Red Dead Revolver.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I remember that one, but I don't know Gun Con.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, let us know what that is. But yeah, we actually did have one more. Why is this doing that? It wanted me to switch my background all of a sudden. Hey, at least it hasn't stopped me from hearing you guys.
Yeah. Don't jinx it. Come on.
There we go. But yeah, we had one more. This isn't gaming related, but it's kind of that way. Right here, PBS and Minnesota, because where Koimiya is at right now. Their public TV station are set to sue the Trump White House. Now you can read this whole article if you want, but basically what it boils down to is PBS and Minnesota are actually saying that Trump's fund cutting for public broadcasting stations and for public television is unconstitutional. They're trying to kill that funding bill that they're trying to basically stop him from cutting their funding.
Right. As they should, because it says it in its name, public broadcasting system.
Yeah,
you can't all be like, CBS, NBC, and all those where they've got millions of dollars to make these programs. And, PBS is where you had Barney, you had Sesame Street, you had all these great educational programs that are now drying up because of these a-holes trying to cut all this stuff.
But yeah, they filed a suit Friday against President Trump over the executive order demanding that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting kill all funding for the network. That's just horseshit. The suit alleges Trump's order is unlawful, exceeding his authority as president and violating constitutional protections of free speech because he has made clear he doesn't like PBS's news coverage and programming. The action challenges an unprecedented presidential directive attacking PBS and its member stations in a manner that will upend public television, the lawsuit states. So basically, he doesn't like their programming. He doesn't like that their news isn't always favoring him like Fox News does, and he wants to kill the funding for it.
Sounds about right. That's usually what he does. You don't like him, then he tries to go after you.
Mm-hmm. It's only a matter of time before he comes after this show.
Oh, I would
love that. Joke's on you. We already don't have any funding.
Right? We don't have sponsors. Sponsor us, please.
Sponsor us, and then you can kill the funding. And why does that look Inception-y?
Because, I didn't hit the button. There we go.
Yep. All right.
Is that all we had for the stories?
That was for the stories. I do see Junior came back. He says, don't need to read out loud, but games I would like to see make a comeback are, like you said, Siphon Filter, but also Time Splitters. Spyro the Dragon. Spyro the Dragon came back a couple of years ago, but I'd like to see him.
But it wasn't as good.
Yeah. Twisted Metal. The TV shows was really good. So
yes, it is.
Chrono Trigger, Jack and Daxter. Yes. Yep.
Definitely a Chrono Trigger, which I think I heard a rumor that they might be trying to remake Chrono Trigger, but hopefully they don't screw it up like they did with the Final Fantasy VII one, where they broke it up into all these different pieces that you got to buy to get the full game.
I think he meant to say Dino Crisis here.
Yep.
Tenchu, Burnout. Yep. Burnout. Love to rip those cars apart. Pokemon Stadium, Turok. Yes, Turok is coming back. That was announced at last year's Game Awards.
Yeah.
Turok, Area 51. That was actually one with Powers Booth, Marilyn Manson, and David Duchovny. Yep, and so many more. So I would actually, if I were to say which ones I'd like to see come back, Area 51 definitely. I'd also love to see a remake or a remaster of The Suffering. Did you ever play that?
No.
It was a horror game done by Midway Games, where you play as an inmate who may or may not have murdered his family, and then monsters start attacking the prison. And each monster is like a representation of something horrible that has happened on that prison's island. It's a lot like Alcatraz kind of thing. And throughout the story, you can make good decisions or you can make bad decisions. And good decisions will determine if you've killed your family or not. if you were the one that did it. It kind of
Okay.
alters that story.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see definitely a Chrono Trigger. I want a remaster of that. That was one of my favorite RPGs ever. And then Dino Crisis, those were really good too.
mhm.
Um,
I'd really like to
Turok,
see the
I was
Punisher.
never a fan of Turok, even though I had it like on the N64, but I just could not get into that game.
I'd like to see a remaster or remake or just a whole new game of the Punisher. That was on the
Okay.
PS. That was on the PS2, and that was actually, it was amazing that Marvel allowed their character to be in such a violent game, and actually it was so violent it pushed the M rating. They got an AO rating initially.
Oh,
It's like, yes, Marvel got an AO rating initially. They had to tone down the what do you call it? They had to tone down the finisher kills, the ones
Oh.
that like you could throw somebody into a wood chipper and it would actually show their face coming off.
oh, geez, yeah, that's a bit much. He comes back again, like I'm saying, update the graphics and controls, but don't mess with the stories. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these like remakes, like that. Like I feel like Square Enix is one that did it for the Final Fantasy VII. Like they totally messed up the story, I feel. And I think you can even like one of the main deaths in the game that's so impactful. I think I heard that they're going to make it so that you can reverse it. Like, oh, that's not the point of that. Point of that was like a, oh my god, that just happened. Like, okay, where do we go from there now? Moment.
I know they kind of messed up when they did Prey, when they did a remaster of Prey, and then they came out and they had like nothing to do with the original game. They just called it Prey.
Mm.
I want an actual remake of Prey. Don't screw that up. And then a lot of people realized that it wasn't Prey and they just threw it down. It's like, okay, if you play this game thinking it's not a Prey game, then
Right.
it's actually a good game. But they screwed that up.
Yeah. They screw up quite a bit. I mean, it's us that have to call them out on it to get them to learn from their mistakes, or whatever the case may be.
I like how I have the green screen now, so you don't see through my eye anymore. It's just kind of looking at that.
It was very distracting before.
Well, thank you for the green screen, even though Rachel now sees what yours looks like, and she's like, we should get one like that. And I'm like, we just got this one for free. Let's at least use it for a little bit.
I mean, the one I have now is fantastic. I love that it can go up and go down.
Mm-hmm. She saw you do that on one of our VODs, and she was like, oh, he can just put it up and down and then slide it over. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, let's get that one. And I'm like,
technically it comes with its own case, so you could like take it somewhere if you needed to do a video somewhere.
See, now she's gonna hear that and she's gonna be like, our next
now
check.
We really need it.
Because she does a lot of things. Next. She does a lot of things on over here, and then she also has another part of our office that's part of our room right now, and she wants to just like put it up and put it down. And I'm like, yeah, we could easily, instead of having to take this whole thing apart and then move it from room to room. And she's like, yeah, let's do that. And I'm like, hey, let's pay bills first. But
yeah, that's step one.
But all right, did we have any more comments here?
Looks like Junior came back. I have both, and a pop-up one.
Oh, for the green screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I love this, and I thank you very much for giving this to me. No it's problem. Like it went so long without having one, but now, now that we've
so much better.
Yeah, but now that we've had a taste of this, Rachel wants to upgrade.
Right. I mean, that's the same thing with me. Like I said, like I started out with a crappy webcam. I started out with a crappy mic, and I've slowly upgraded it so that it's a little bit better and to my liking. But it's also me just being perfectionist. Like I want to, have better equipment, look better, and
That's also a little problem with Rachel and I, because she's starting her own online business stuff and I'm starting my own online business stuff. So it's like, who needs the better stuff? Well, we both need it. Well, we can't afford two of them.
Right. Well, you can, get one and share it between the two also. So.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we both do stuff on the weekends. So it's like, okay, now who gets it? I do it Saturday, you do it Sunday. Well, I'm tired on Sunday. Well, I
Right.
need to do it Saturday.
Yeah, Saturdays are a stretch because we do this podcast and then I get off and then I do my stream of World of Warcraft. So and I edit both those videos, put the chapters in them. So Sundays is usually me just putting chapters in videos for YouTube, which is
Yeah.
a lot. I was trying to get the wife to do it, but she won't do it.
Wife, do it.
Yeah, I wish I could get her to do it.
Yeah. She's got her. I know she's got a lot of stuff. I'm really glad she's back home after that whole fiasco you guys had.
Yes, she is back home safe and sound. We are less one car because it broke down on her trip. If you've seen any of my videos on TikTok and or YouTube, my wife went out of state. She got to where she was going and the car literally broke down. And it turned out the engine was shot. So we junked that car, and last Wednesday we got her, or this Wednesday we got her a rental car so she could come home and at least be in the confines of her own house. So
and she's there because I know she's got some issues too. So she needed her medicine and she couldn't get them out there because it's yeah. I was trying because working in health insurance, I was sitting there like trying to think of like ways like, wait, you can do this on an emergency basis, but if it's a controlled substance, it takes like 10 days. And I'm like, shit, I'm trying to help,
right.
But I can only work with what the laws allow me to,
Right. And yeah, her medicine for her rheumatoid arthritis is like they can only send it out once they're all done, and she still had like 1 or 2 left. So
and that
wouldn't have worked anyways. So
I was trying my best, but
the other thing is like we had rental cars set up already, so she would have been back a week before, but we canceled it because she still had to deal with the car and junking it. And then we hit Memorial Weekend and like all the fucking cars were gone. Like you couldn't rent a car just in town. Otherwise, like I think the only one you could do it, and the one we finally went through was Hertz. But initially they wanted like 250 to be able to come home within that weekend. And we were like, well, we're not fucking paying that for 24 hours. So, but we finally went through them and it was a little bit cheaper. So that's how we got her home, is through Hertz.
They did that 250 whatever because they probably could with Memorial Day,
and they were literally the only company that had cars. Not like I was going through Enterprise before and they were gone. I tried to go through Avis because we get kind of a discount through them, and they had nothing. So,
and she wasn't about to shine up her thumb and hitchhike. So
no. We were saying, if it was just her, we could maybe get her, on a plane or on a train. But she also had her dog. She also had now all the stuff that she had in her car. She, had taken that all out. So we had a lot of stuff to get back here.
So, but at least I'd say kind of all worked out. She's back home now. So, and you'll be getting a new car pretty soon, probably.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. Figure out if we're doing that or if we're going to Disneyland or if we're trying to work out both. Because I know we wanted to go to Disneyland because it's the 70th anniversary of Disneyland this year. They're celebrating all year. And we were going to go on my birthday for a week like we do.
Go to Disneyland. Get a car later.
I mean, that's my saying. Fuck that. Let's go to the happiest place on earth. And then
the bar. I mean Disneyland.
I can stream from there, and I'm always content brain, thinking about what I can do to make content.
Yep. And then just before we head out here, said sadly my other parts don't support me. I don't know that feeling. Kind of like paying bills. Don't know what that's like either.
Okay.
It's I really wish I could pay more bills on time. I get most of them paid on time, but
yeah, I mean, pick and choose on some of it. You still got to eat and survive too.
Well, that's why what Rachel and I do is like we usually just because we get 2 checks and we get paid at the same time. So we're usually like, hey, this is going to rent. And then next check goes to car payment and car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, then when we go to buy things, we're like, what happened to all the money? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Rent and car payment and car insurance.
Right. I mean,
So-
you have your priorities straight. You're surviving. You said that you're doing better now than you have in, when you were younger.
Oh, yeah. When I had to
So-
beg people for money.
Right. So, like, just keep going at the grind and see where we can get everything.
We will get there. And I don't know where there is, but we're going to get there, and that's somewhere.
Yeah, having more people in our streams, and revenue from that, and subscriptions and sponsors and all that stuff. So
It will come. But yeah, we want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. Koimiya unfortunately couldn't be with us, but he was here in the chat for a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, Dart.
I had to get the last dig in.
Yeah.
But you can follow Koimiya on all the channels. He's on Beam. He's on Twitch. He's on Kick. He's on Facebook. He's on X. Follow him on there. His
He's
name's
on X.
Not that kind of X. What they call Twitter now. The youngins call Twitter now. He's on there, and that's where you can see when he's gonna stream. I know he does Frag Punk Fridays now. He started up doing that. He did his first one yesterday, which was pretty cool. So definitely check him out. It's Koimiya X on all the things. So a little shout out to him because I know he's not here.
I just remember when I saw something on Facebook. It was like, say something that means something totally different today than it did when you were a kid. And I was like, find me on X.
Yeah. I don't even know if kids would know what that means anymore. Yep. So yeah, X is a thing now. Apparently.
Actually, I had a thing. I was like, imagine it's 1995 and somebody hands you this and says, here, order us a pizza and look up the movie times.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. He had to call it all in and listen to the movie phone. And if you missed that the time you wanted, you had to fucking hang up and call again.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or, pick up a newspaper and look at the times there.
Yeah, now a lot of times Rachel's like, what time does the movie start? Let me check real quick. Oh, 3:30.
Yeah, I order my tickets and my food through my phone so that I just go in, scan everything, give me my food, and go up to my seat. Like,
so I do.
I mean, it's still expensive as fuck because it costs like $50 to go to a movie theater now if you want food and everything.
I'm surprised this is showing up because it's got a green thing and it got the green screen, but it's still showing. But yeah, this is what I use. This is pretty much my lifeline. I actually made a joke to a teacher that I have on Facebook. I took a picture of me with my phone and I was like, you told me I needed to learn mental math because I wouldn't always have a calculator in my pocket, but look what I have. And then I was like, and you also told me I needed to learn how to spell because I wouldn't always have a dictionary. Again, look. Look what I have.
That's probably been the best thing for me because I am the worst speller, and I have learning disabilities like dyslexia and stuff, and it's sometimes hard for me to read off the stuff. So the spelling part of this is the best thing for me, or being able to do text to speech because I don't always know how the word is spelled, so I can figure it out.
Except when it does correct you, it's like when I go to swear on here, I'm not saying what the duck.
Well, maybe you really like ducks. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe the person who did spell check really liked ducks. But anyway, was there anything else that you had to add for this week?
We'll just give each other an outro on what we're streaming next. So I will let you go first. Tell us what you're playing and when they can find you.
So you can find me usually Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on twitch.tv / that's Slycopscly, and that's / and I'm sorry, that is that Cyclops_guy. You can find me on my YouTube channel and on my TikTok page. We've got a lot of exciting things. I am still about ready to finish up South of Midnight, and then after that, I'm not sure if we'll jump into Indiana Jones or if we'll do Oblivion. I've got quite a few games on there, and I just downloaded Doom: The Dark Ages, so we'll be playing that as well. I know I also need to start Assassin's Creed. I got a lot in my backlog, so when games get delayed, I'm like, sweet, it gives me some time to work here. But yeah, you can always check us out there. I usually go live about 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I've got a lot of exciting things coming on there, and then you can always find me on here Saturdays doing the show.
All right. I'll move you. There we go. And for me, you can find me also on Twitch and also YouTube. And if you're looking for my past streams, it's always on my YouTubes. I try and put it up the next day so you can rewatch it. And I edit out like my breaks and a couple other things. But for the most part, that's where you find all my old stuff. As of right now, tonight I will be playing World of Warcraft at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be raiding in there and going after the last boss of the raid. So hopefully we can down him tonight. Then Mondays I usually play Magic the Gathering Arena. We do have a new set coming out for that in this next month, so I plan on playing that a little bit more. And that's usually throughout the week. I usually start at 4 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays I do Indiana Jones. Wednesdays and Thursdays are now freed up because I beat the games I was playing there. I was playing Rusty Rabbit and also the Midnight Walk. I beat both of those games, so we have to figure out what we're going to put in there, if we're just going to continue more Indiana Jones and try and beat that one, or if I sprinkle in, like he said, some Assassin's Creed. And then Fridays we go right back into World of Warcraft, and then Saturdays repeat podcasts and World of Warcraft. So that's usually my schedule right now, unless I know the Switch 2 is coming out. I'm going to try and get one if I can. I might turn a day into a Switch day and play some new games there. I'm looking forward to the new Donkey Kong. But yeah, you can find me on all the socials usually as Neodeath, and it's spelled wrong. It's DETH because somebody took my name, jerks. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have on that.
So,
got anything else?
Nope, that was it. I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. Junior, thanks for coming and hanging out. Yes. Dark Flame, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you for coming and hanging out. Jay Frayne. And we will see everybody next time. Hopefully we'll see you on our individual streams, and then we'll also see you here next week.
Oh, the Looker just popped on.
And Looker. Oh, sorry.
Hey, Looker, catching us at the end of this, but we appreciate you. And we were talking about what you talked to me yesterday about you coming on here, us going on there, or us doing all a big collab together. We are definitely interested in that, and we will talk to you later about that.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely interested. I love coming onto his show that one time that I was on.
Yeah, having you on here was a blast.
And you're talking about your personality into a chin line, and then I was talking about how I was a one-eyed Ron Jeremy with the mustache.
All of that was comedic gold. We got a lot of clips out of that one. So yeah, he also says, just got in here last minute. My bad dude's all good. Nice. Whoop. And yeah, man, that made me laugh. Yeah.
I should tell you,
make each other laugh.
Since you guys are all on here, I did call my mom and ask her if I could get my artificial eyes from her. She hasn't actually said yes. I don't know why she wants to keep them, but she hasn't said yes. But when she asked me, she goes, "Why do you want them?" Instead of being serious about, I want to show them here, I was like, because I want to make a biblically accurate angel to hang on my front door. I'm not kidding. I don't think I've ever heard her laugh so hard. It's like I want a biblically accurate angel.
Nice. But she
Yeah, but she hasn't
no.
said no. Well, she can't. They're mine. I'm like, I am 40. I'm 41 years old. I should be able to have my artificial eyes from when I was a kid. And that is a weird sentence.
Are you just gonna put them like behind you somewhere and like I'm watching you?
I
Kinda like
should.
what the looker said. Like,
I should.
yeah.
Would
Put
they?
it in,
Would they show up on the green screen here if I put them like glue them here so it looks like they're all around, and then maybe get like an AI thing to blink every couple of seconds?
Oh man, we got lots of fun with that stuff.
Because then I can like do a dark thing and be like, "Am I being watched? I feel like I'm being watched." Oh God!
Right. Oh man, top of the hat. Oh, that'd be pretty good too. He says, must have been an odd question. Mom, can I have my eye?
Yeah, most likely. It was. I was like, can I have those eyes? And I told her, I was like, you always send me these stupid pictures from things I don't remember. You send me my report cards from like, 4th and 5th grade. Like, that's going to do me anything. Give me my eyes that I can actually do something with here.
Right.
And she actually, I'm not even kidding. She has like my old stuff that like used to, there was like this thing that they had to put over my head to keep
like stabilize it.
Yeah. And I was like, you have these things that are old and crusty. Can I have that? Because I can turn it into something. I used to have a Vena port, which was like a port that they put underneath your skin here. And then they can like interject the medicine. And I was like, you have that.
She has that?
Yeah, you have that. I don't know why you kept that. This is a woman who actually, from when I was 14, I had to have a cranial reconstructive surgery to pull the part of my face forward. I think I told you about that. They shaved my head to do this, and they shaved it completely bald. We're talking like Walter White, like bald. And they, for whatever reason, Mayo Clinic put my hair in a plastic bag, and then they gave it to my mom, and she still has it. I'm like, if you want my hair that bad, I will cut it and I will send it to you. You can get rid of that.
It's just so she can make clones of you, right?
Yeah. I was like, you can get rid of that almost 30-year-old hair. And I'm like, what is it? Do you have sentimental value to the hair that was on my head that day?
Don't touch a hair on my baby's head.
She's got that. She's got like almost every single eye that I had from when I was 2 to when I was 14, when my body stopped accepting.
Man, so they'd be different sizes, right?
Yeah,
man.
So I was like, I want to get those artificial eyes from her and like glue them onto my hand, and like then get like AI to just be like, I can be like the labyrinth,
Right. Says, haha, your mom love you.
Yeah, it's annoying. And we've told her, like,
I mean, it might come in comedic gold, right?
Yeah, from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, you know what? And I was just like, the day she passes away, if I don't have them by then, I am taking those eyes. That's the first thing I'm putting in my car is those eyes.
I'm taking my eyes.
You can't have my eyes anymore. They're mine.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this one here. She can tell you all the stuff that my mom has from when I was going.
Oh my God, it's like, seriously? What the fuck?
Look, apparently Rachel's trying to be thing right now, just her hand, but
hey, I know you're done, but I didn't
almost
to
we're still live, right?
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. It's right
Live.
there, live recording.
We're laughing and stuff, but we're still live. Hello, say hi to the world.
Say hi to the world. You are on Twitch, YouTube, and I'm gonna clip this for TikTok now.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, but yeah, we do. Yep, Looker says hi.
I thought you were done.
Nope.
Usually it's
Never
only a
done.
2-hour show, but we had 2 weeks of stuff to go through, and we had about 5 celebrity deaths to talk about.
Oh,
right.
Well, when you're done, can you do the pork chops?
Yes. Yeah, my wife, we're making pork chops tonight, and I'm pretty sure she's going to start getting hungry here. So
Yes.
Yeah, I am too. And I got to get off. I got to like an hour, and then I got to get back on for my other stream. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Thank you everybody for coming out. I like Looker here. Whoop whoop. But yeah,
Thank you, Looker, for still showing up. Thank you for everybody that did show up or comment. We appreciate it. It means a lot to us. And catch us in the next one next week.
Yep, and our show is almost never this long. So
yeah, it's usually only about 2 hours, 2 hours 15. It's usually what we go. But yeah, this was like 2 shows crammed in one for 2 weeks.
So thank you for coming to the extended version.
And sticking around to the end.
If I didn't work all day, I would have been here a while ago. Oh, no problem. Hey, you gotta pay those bills.
Right.
So all right.
Rich and famous yet.
We will be. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming out, and we'll see you next time.
Laters.
Is that later losers, as you say on TikTok?
No, I just say get in losers, and I say what's up losers. Those are like my 2 things, and then at the end I say laters. Those are like my catchphrases, I guess.
He says, "Much love, dudes. Yep, we'll talk to you later."
Thank you very much, Laker.
Laker?
Looker. You know what I said.
I know.
Good night, everybody.